most intense, thrilling, electrifying sport on the planet. Mixed martial arts. You've been looking for the definitive podcast to call your new home to hear everything about it. The search is over. This is the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. Bringing you the hottest MMA breakdowns straight from the heart of the octagon. This show is all about MMA breakdowns. For fans, by fans. We're talking UFC, MMA, and the occasional big boxing match. We'll bring our unique take on how these fights are going to play out and who we think are the best bets. Welcome to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. And now your hosts, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and Emiliano, a.k.a. Jive Turkey Nano.
What is up, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of the MMAnomaly Show, No Filter. I'm your host, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and with me, as always, is the co-host with the most, Jive Turkey Nano. How the hell are you, brother?
Doing fantastic, brother. Great to be here. As always, we live, we jiving. You know how we do. In the holiday spirit. Got the UFC shirt. Shout out MMAnomaly. Because we are in UFC Vegas, baby, for this banger of a UFC 296. Last one of 2023. And brother, I mean, if this was a notebook, I might have ran out of pages. I have so many good notes, so many good fights to cover, so much room for activities. Let's go.
I got a full notebook here, brother. We're ready to fucking go.
Let's go.
You already know what it is, baby. You know we're ready to go.
You know the boys.
And that's for show. We have a whole last fight card to go over in this one, guys. UFC 296 is obviously the last pay-per-view of the year. And flu be damned. I'm not missing this one, man. I think we both got the flu here in the household. Feel like absolute crap. But here we are, man. Here we are. Shot up. A couple shots of Dayquil. Fighting back the coughs. Making good use of the mute button very quickly, hopefully, here on the fly this episode. And
there we go. I love it, brother.
Ground, baby.
I love it.
So, first things first, I do want to do a quick shout out here for the guys over at On Topic MMA. I'm pretty sure they run this site, capmma.com. Again, that is CAPMMA.com. Now, the reason I'm shouting out this website is obviously me and Nano, we really like to get down with our live Jive selves and go over these bets with you guys, as well as just kind of our picks. Something that Cap MMA does really, really well, possibly better than any other site I've seen, is showcasing not only the current odds of whatever sports book you're using, for example, DraftKings, Bovada, or if you're Mad Max Meridian here in the chat, Bova Daddy. Either way, whatever you use, the odds are on here on capmma.com, all in one place, all in a linear fashion. So that way you can see across the board. And they also have it broken down by fight odd averages in the US and the UK, Europe, Australia, etc. Really, really neat website. Really, really cool to be able to see that. And it also lets you see, kind of how much the lines have moved. Let's go to the chat here. Ian Gary. I'm getting ahead of myself. Just reading too quick. Mad Max. Excuse me. Mad Max Meridian in the chat here says, you guys and Ian Gary too, apparently. Oh, man.
Both are having the flu game, huh? You heard about this?
I did. We actually have a little bit. That's right, folks. Breaking news, breaking MMA news. There's apparently a little bit of a pullout going on. I think Miss Mary 616 here in the chat said it best. Guys, he's sick. His wife said so. She's also his manager. Rope. Fun fact.
Yep.
Yeah. She's also his cuck master. But not trying to get canceled here that fast. So we're gonna continue forward on this one. But apparently the kid does have a sickness. He's feeling flu-like, according to a very credible source that has never, ever lied. And if this guy has lied, you're probably going to tell me that he mispronounced someone's name too. I'm talking about Chael Sonnen, folks. Chael Sonnen, the most true north source of MMA news and just world news in general, if you ask me. He said it first. He said it about an hour and 15-ish ago. Whoa, Dana said it too? No way. If Dana said it, then you know Ian Gary's going to show up at the actual press conference tomorrow and fight on Saturday because Dana never tells the fucking truth. No, real talk, though. Damn, I forgot to hit the mute button. I'm sorry, guys. I am going to be just obliterating your eardrums on the audio-only version especially. At least on the video version, you can see me doing like the 1985 werewolf, like, no, I'm changing, get away. Before I cough.
Don't look at me.
No, get back.
Save yourself. I love it, brother. We appreciate it, man. Hey, you're pushing through, brother. And just like our boy Ian Gary, hopefully he perseveres, man. Hopefully he gets some fluids. Hopefully him and his kid, supposedly, is also sick as well. They're spending some time in the hospital or in the ER. Hopefully this fight continues. More of the story, man. Even if it's not 100% Ian Gary, we're very hopeful around here, man, because that would be a huge chink in the armor of this banger of a card, man. I mean, I was going to say it's perfect, nearly flawless. If this would have happened, that would obviously take the steam out of its sails a bit. So, rooting for him. Today is what, Wednesday? So, we have a few more days, a few more sleeps. Man, rooting. I mean, what do you... I'm not rooting for him. I mean, the guy's an absolute piece of garbage.
Yeah, he's kind of a jerk. I don't know if you saw this. I actually said this in the group chat earlier, but this was pointed out to me on Twitter recently, as in like about an hour and a half ago. So his opponent, Vicente Luque, actually posted on his Instagram that he recently got baptized and found Jesus, found religion. And, great for him. I love that. Ian Gary commented on it and said he's going to be standing before you on December 16th, blonde and almighty, basically saying that he's God and he's going to knock this kid out. I mean, it's just wild, bro. The things that comes out of the guy's mouth. And I've said this whenever Conor McGregor faced off against Nate Diaz for the first time, when people were like, dude, I don't get it. Why do you hate Conor McGregor so much, but you like Nate Diaz? Like, they're both talking trash. The difference here is, when Nate Diaz says silly things like, hey, man, I bet my whole party could beat the fuck out of your whole crew. My guys versus your guys. Let's go. Schoolyard style, motherfucker. He doesn't actually mean that. Like, he's just talking out his ass, trying to get a reaction out of you. But when Conor McGregor talks, when Ian Gary talks, like, they believe wholeheartedly the things they're saying. Kind of like when Tony Ferguson talks, but when Tony does it, it's like funny because it's a meme, Tony Ferguson is the type of guy to bring his lizard named Houdini to fight week, though, huh?
That's hilarious. X seen it first, but yeah, brother, he definitely is. That was hilarious. Love Tony Ferguson. Look, I mean, we're jumping around the card already in typical fashion here. No filter, right? No agendas, right? We know roughly what we're going to talk about here, but we got to go with the flow. We got to roll with these punches, just like we hear with the news here. But you're absolutely right, brother. All things considered, Ian Gary, like, the more you see it about him behind the scenes, or I was rewatching some old footage of him and Embedded, like, in previous fights, and there's just little things he does to be silly, like the Daniel Rodriguez pizza and weed brownie prank, I guess. It's just everything he does is a little bit more on the cringy side, unfortunately. And yeah, when it's blurring the lines of being disrespectful or just, to me, it just doesn't feel as in good taste, right? Maybe, I mean, I love being confident in your skills or things like that, but now it feels a bit forced. And yeah, this would not be ideal for our boy Ian Gary. For this card, for Vicente, who's obviously trained against Ian Gary a bit. There's all that drama that's been going around. Obviously, everything about his wife, which, man, all things considered, he's getting it all from all different angles. I don't want to be another one to pile on. I mean, the kid's super talented. I think the sky's the limit for him. And again, if he's 80%, I think he's still going to go in there and try to prove us all wrong, instead of add another chip onto his shoulder that he keeps adding himself. But that's what you need in this sport. And his fighting and his talent certainly speaks for itself, but he has some holes in his game. And I do think Vicente Luque could potentially expose some of them. So that's why I was so excited to see it. And hopefully we still can. I don't know if we need to break it down any more than that, given the news. But if it's on, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be a banger. And y'all need to make sure you're tuned in and have the popcorn ready.
So while you were giving your spill, I decided to open up Twitter and see if the actual golden star here, the source of truth, had actually said anything on this one. Per 12 minutes ago on Ariel Helwani's Twitter, Ian Gary is officially out of UFC 296. Gary is currently battling pneumonia and the flu. He's been sick for days, I'm told. This is why he didn't attend media day today. I'm told he did everything he could to fight, but the decision was made this evening to call the fight off. Dana White confirmed the news, which was first reported by Chael Sonnen, baby.
Whoa, Chael. Breaking MMA news. He's an MMA analysis.
When did Chael get faster than Helwani?
After he owned him on his own show, probably. Ooh.
Dang.
Too soon.
Got him. Well, I guess we don't have to.
Wow, so no Ian Gary. That is brutal.
Fight. That sucks, man.
I felt like it was gonna be bad news bears for him. Stylistically, Vicente Luque is a freaking savage. He's mean potatoes style, bro. Stays in the pocket, like has hard punches, and he's got a great ground game. My goodness, say that 5 times fast. Great ground game. Okay. Take it easy. Man, bummer. Do you think they're gonna try to find a replacement?
Not a chance.
A lot of stakes on this. That's too soon, huh? That's 296.
Too soon, Junior.
Just move someone up. Maybe they move Cardi Garbrandt up to the main card.
Oh yeah, Cody Garbrandt is definitely main card worthy. If not, I mean, you could literally just close your eyes and almost pick a fight on the preliminary fight card. Josh Emmett versus Bryce Mitchell. Cool, you're on. Irene Aldana versus Carl Rosa. You're on. Fuck, even Casey O'Neill versus Ariane Lipski.
A lot of bangers.
At least every single male viewer that's watching that fight card, if the first thing they see on the pay-per-view is Ariane Lipski versus Casey O'Neill, not one person's complaining.
No one's going to turn it off.
Females are watching it. They're going to be like, fuck yeah. These women rock. And it's true. They fucking
go,
do.
Girl.
Badass, dude. You go, girl. Excuse me.
Slay.
So, speaking of slay, it's almost time for Santa to come, and he only comes once a year. Bad jokes all day. So we'll go ahead and jump into the first fight here. We got Randy Rude Boy Brown coming in against Muslim Salikov. This fight is disgusting. I feel like both of these guys they have basically the same story in the UFC, in my opinion. Both guys that seemed like at one point in time they could possibly be a problem for this division. Both guys that ran into the wrong people in the division and ended up losing. I mean, the Leech, right? Li Jingliang. This guy beats most people in the weight class. That's just a fact. That's one of the people that Muslim Salikov lost to. The other guy he lost to, you may have heard of him. I've won money on him, I think 3 times now. Fucking Nicholas Danish Dynamite Dalby, a.k.a. the Brazilla Killer. Man, this fucking guy, he's a beast, right? They call him Danish Dynamite for a reason. And that is who this young man's last fight was against. So Muslim Salikov coming off a loss to this Nicholas Dalby stud. He lost a unanimous decision to him, and he's coming in against a very game Randy Rude Boy Brown, whose most recent outings, again, his most recent loss was to Jack Della Maddalena. And before that, a guy that you may have heard us talk about very recently, Vicente Luque. That's the other guy that beat him. So, I mean, Randy Brown has fought a who's who. He's fought Chaos Williams. He's fought Jared Gooden. He's fought Alex Cowboy Oliveira, Francisco Trinaldo, the fucking ageless wonder himself, Wellington Turman, who, just is a beast in his own right. And I mean, this guy has beaten all those people I named other than Vicente Luque and Jack Della Maddalena. Oh, and he also beat Warley Alves and Brian Barberena back in the day. We're talking circa 2019 here, folks. The guy's an absolute beast, but Muslim Salikov he's an anomaly himself. The guy is fighting out of Russia. And typically when I say a guy's fighting out of Russia, you say, oh, so he's a grappler, right? Nah, this dude is the Kung Fu King. He's the king of Kung Fu. That's literally his nickname. He's got 12 wins by KO/TKO. That's 63% of all of his wins. Another 16% of those, 3 wins by submission. and then 4 wins by decision. So when and if he can, he's looking to put your lights out, and he's looking to do it on the feet. Now, standing across from him, you got someone who typically, I mean, if they lose, it's going to be a knockout or a submission. They've only lost 1 decision in their pro career in Rude Boy Randy Brown, or as Tapology has him listed, Randall Brown. Love that. That's a fantastic name. Randall Rude Boy Brown. Let's get it, baby. Anyways, this guy is an absolute beast. In Tapology's worldwide rankings, he's ranked number 14 across all active MMA welterweights, while his opponent is ranked number 22 on the world MMA rankings. So solid matchup as far as numbers go. I really like Randy Rude Boy Brown. If you ask me who I want to win, kind of rooting for Randy Brown here. If you ask me who I think is going to win, I think Muslim Salikov just has more tools in the tool belt. If this fight goes to the ground, I think he has a significant advantage. He's Russian. There's just something about that. Like, there's fucking grappling in the guy's blood. It's in his DNA, folks. So, I mean, yeah, gun to my head, I think I'm taking Muslim Salikov on this one, but I'm interested to hear what your breakdown on this one is, Nano.
Awesome, man. Well, great lead in there, brother. Absolutely. Randy Rude Boy Brown at 33 years old with a 17-5 record. Really impressive. I beg to differ on the ground game, man. We got to give him some respect. This brother has 6 KOs and 5 submissions. That's something to mess with, brother. Come on now. And you mentioned too, all around, Randy Brown is a solid fighter with just some blemishes on the record to some high-level opponents. So nothing against him. But it does feel like at times he tends to rely on his explosiveness, just being a tall 6'3" athlete, very twitchy guy, very strong. He's good on his feet. Yeah, as Olin's demonstrating here for the audio listeners, very good head movement, very good stringing punches together. And again, he's got a 78-inch reach. So no matter who he's in there with, his size and his athleticism, his speed, his willingness to want to move certainly makes a tough night for anybody in the office there. However, on the other side, he does have a tough Muslim Salikov who, like you mentioned, brother, is known as a KO artist. Man, he's got a lot under his belt, high percentage finish rate, and he's the Kung Fu Panda. Kung Fu... King of Kung Fu. Who else better than Kung Fu Panda? The 4th one's coming out soon, so shout out there.
I'm stoked about that. We're going to talk about that in this fucking episode, bro.
Let's do it, brother. We have to. We're talking about Kung Fu Panda already. It needs to be done. But all things considered, I'm going to lean Randy Rude Boy Brown here. I just feel like he's squared off against the tougher opponents. I think he's learned through those trials and tribulations. And again, he's such a fun, long, rangy, athletic opponent that I think he's going to find a way to edge it out, maybe on his feet, because I do want to also reiterate that Muslim is 39 years old. I don't love going for the old bucks unless there's really something that makes me feel great about it. I know you mentioned he does have a lot of tools in that toolbox, but it's going to be a long day at the construction site for him. So give me some Rude Boy Randy Brown. Let's go.
I hate it when you root against us old folks, man. Not a fan. Definitely not a fan.
Sorry, brother.
Not a fan. But you know, it is what it is. I get it. You're a dick.
Trolling.
No, I love you. But I also hate you sometimes. Mad Max Meridian in the chat here. The over at -145 ain't too shabby. I'm not mad at that. Is that over 1.5 or is that over 2.5? You look at those odds. If it's over 1.5, I like that. If it's over 2.5, I'm staying away from that, my guy. Definitely staying away from that. Yeah, just because like the over 2.5 is tough because we've seen both of these guys get first and second round finishes. Nordine the Machine Taleb got knocked the hell out by an overhand right from Muslim Salikov, and that was probably my like most lasting impression of him. So yeah, over 2.5 is tough for me to bet on this one. I feel like we could get a finish late into round 2. Muslim is that guy. He's very, very tough. He's got dynamite in his hands and in his legs. Honestly, he could get the knockout anywhere. And I think he fades as the fight goes on. If the fight goes past the second round. It's guaranteed money that it's going to go 2.5 minutes into the third, I think. It's just, it's going to be sweating bullets getting there. These guys are going to be throwing hands and feet and knees and elbows, fucking double legs. Yeah, I just feel like this is going to be a tough fight to bet the over 2.5 on. Yeah, I mean,
I would just say they both have a lot of finishes under their name too. It's just, I'm leaning maybe the under. You are getting plus 110, but to be honest, I'm probably staying away from this altogether. This, in terms of a pick, it's tough for me to decide there, but I do like Mad Max's strategy. If you are like us and maybe you're on the fence, maybe take the over or under. I do like it again here, only because, again, both of these guys finish a lot of their fights, majority of them.
I like the under 2.5 on this one. I would take the under 2.5 happily on this guy.
Mad Max, if we're wrong, we're about to do a shot on
facts
next week.
Facts. In this next one, we got Martin Bidet coming in against Shamil Gaziev. I'll be honest with you, this fight has probably the least amount of steam on it for me as far as like fanfare. I'm down to skip this one and move into the next one because the next one I actually am pretty excited about.
We got a lot of bangers. Let's keep it moving. And we got someone new in the chat here, Leo Leach. What's up, brother? Great to have you back.
What up, Leo? How we doing, brother? Hacking along up, but we are here breaking down these fights, folks. So we are jumping into Andre Touchy-Feely, probably pound for pound best nickname in all of MMA. I mean, come on. Talk about a kid who probably got made fun of for having the last name Philly growing up, and he turned it into a positive. As Cobra Kai would say, that's called flipping the script, folks. That's what this guy did. Andre Touchy-Feely coming in against a very game, very stout opponent and Lucas Almeida. Now, I mean, this one has a lot of fire on it, a lot of anticipation on it. Young Lucas Almeida's 14-2. Guy looks like an absolute stud, fighting out of Team Kiyoshi. Currently coming off of a 1-loss streak here. He lost to Pat Sabatini. No shame there. Pat Sabatini's an absolute stud. Before then, he got the win over Michael Trezano, Italo Trinidad. And before then, he got the loss in Dana White's Contender Series over Daniel Zaluber. Now, he lost the fight against Daniel Zaluber in the Contender Series, but was still given a contract after he went out and got a win at Jungle Fight 103 over Italo Trinidad, like I said. Now, beating Michael Trezano is no easy feat. At the same time, he's also, we're doing good, Leo. Thanks for asking, my guy. And happy to have you in the chat, as Nano said. So Lucas Almeida, he's a pretty solid fighter. Michael Trezano is just an absolute beast, in my opinion. He fought on The Ultimate Fighter. Kind of looks like the youngest Jonas brother. Wears the red, white, and blue cowboy hat. Even though he's fighting out of New Jersey, which is always interesting to me. Definitely not a Texan. But anyways, I digress. Dude is a beast, but he was already coming off of a loss to Hakeem Dawodu. And that's when he got that loss to Lucas Almeida. Since then, he's bounced back over Sung Woo Choi. So again, pretty solid win, in my opinion. Guy got it done over game opponents. But again, he's had 4 canceled bouts. William Gomes, Hakeem Dawodu, a canceled bout back in February against Andre Touchy-Feely, and another canceled bout the year before, right before that, that was supposed to be against Zubaira Tukhugov, fighting out of AKA. So he's had 4 canceled bouts and a loss. That's a lot to take in. That's a lot of time off. And that's also a lot of, kind of forks in the road, right? I feel like Lucas Almeida coming into this one, he's going to have his work cut out for him. Andre Touchy-Feely, he's 22-10, which is obviously not the greatest record in the world, but the guy is an absolute grinder. And the reason he has these losses is because he's fought Sadiq Yusuf. He's fought Michael Johnson, Calvin Kattar, Daniel Pineda, Charles Air Jourdain, Miles the Fury Jury, when he was actually like coming off of tough, looking really fucking good. Joe Anderson Brito, Shane Shapiro, Lando Venata, Groovy Lando, Billy Algeo, Lucas Almeida, got the canceled bout against. And then Nathaniel Wood. Again, like the people that he's lost to are the Sadiq Yusufs of the world, the Bryce Mitchells of the world, the Nathaniel Carved Up Woods. Guy's a beast. Also, I thought he won that Nathaniel Wood fight. You can fucking fight me. Ben Shapiro's son. Jesus.
I love it. I love
you made
it.
me laugh so hard I unplugged my freaking headphones out of the mic.
I love it. Happens to the best of us.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. I laughed. I coughed. I unplugged my headphones. It was the best of times. I say it was the worst of times. So yeah, man, I think it's probably pretty obvious who I'm leaning towards in this. I'm leaning towards Andre Touchy-Feely. Probably a little bit of bias there. I've had the pleasure of meeting the guy in person at UFC Sacramento, one of the cards that we were both at. Let's go, baby. Shout out Jive Turkey Nano, I think. Dude, like, I mean, the dude, he's an absolute beast. Let's see what Mad Max is saying here before I finish my thought. Randy Brown, 4 of last 5 fights decision. Muslim, 4 of last 6 decision. Main basis for my pick there. Sorry, delay making a PB&J. Brother, don't ever apologize for a delay, especially if it's from making a PB&J. PB&J, Leo Leach, is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's a fucking classic. If you haven't had one, you got to do it. I personally recommend putting the peanut butter into a bowl and then putting your jelly into a bowl with it and whipping it together into one singular kind of like
creaminess
paste. Creamy paste. And I like doing that with apple jelly. I don't know why. I've done it since I was a kid. My dad taught me that. And
interesting.
It's money in the bank, my guy. It's hands down the best I've ever had. And
I'll some bananas in there too. Sign me up, brother.
Every once in a blue moon, I'm doing that. You know what I'm saying? Sign me up for that potassium while I'm sick, doggy. Let's go.
Let's go, baby. Sheesh.
So wow. I'm not mad at that Mad Max Meridian pick here. Definitely not mad at that pick when you base it on, logic. And that is a sound logic. But that being said, I'm going to finish my thought here and just say it outright. I think Andre Touchy-Feely comes out here and I think he ends up getting a probably grindy decision win over Lucas Almeida.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough sledding for our boy Andre Touchy-Feely here, man. Like you mentioned, he's been around the block at only 33 years old and has fought basically anybody that has been relevant in the last 10 years here at featherweight. I mean, dude's an absolute stud. Doesn't win them all, like you see in the record there. For every 2, he's about losing 1. Which isn't bad, but, all things considered, he is going up against a tough opponent who we don't know as much about here in the UFC. Although he does have an impressive record here, Lucas Almeida, 32 years old, 14-2. Every fight he's been in, it's been a finish. That's pretty impressive. 9 KOs, 5 subs. And he's 6 feet tall at 145 pounds. I felt like that was really impressive as well. I mean, Andre Touchy-Feely is 5'11", and he's usually towering over people. So the fact that he's taller than him, it's crazy to think about. So this dude, Lucas Almeida, he really might be an absolute dog, which means at a minimum, we're in for a striker's delight. We're in for a really fun fight here, ladies and gents. But with that kind of record, and again, only losses in the UFC, 1 to, like you mentioned, a talented Daniel Zellhuber, who we've seen as of recent on UFC Noche. He had an awesome performance. So dude's a stud. It's already established there. And then most recently to a Pat Sabatini, who really just kind of wrestle fucked them most of the fight. And again, I mean, that's why I think there's going to be a striker's delight. It's really anyone's game when you're this high level. I'm rooting for Touchy-Feely, but boy, this is an underdog that I potentially would not be surprised winning here at plus 145 odds. Lucas Almeida wouldn't fault you for maybe taking a half uni or 2 on our boy here, Lucas Almeida, eventually win this one. But it's gonna be a banger, y'all. Make sure you tune in early.
Yeah, this one has banger written all over it. I mean, again, even though I think it is going to go to decision, I think it's going to be a very, very fun fight. I think it's going to be a slobber knocker, a little back and forth action here. I mean, Mad Max Meridian said big boy for 145. I agree. Definitely a big boy for 145 here. I mean, both of these guys, pretty big boys for 145. 74-inch reach, 71-inch reach. I mean, they're both fucking my height. They're like 5'9". I'm like 5'10" on my best day, So, I mean, fuck you, dude. You're not 5'10". Fuck out of here.
I was saying they're literally my height, 5'10", 5'11", 6, 5'11-ish.
5'11 and a half, bro. Give me 5'10" on a good day and take your 5'11 and a half.
They're our height.
They're our height-ish. But they're 145, bro. Like, that's like a person. That's like a small child less than you and me.
Oh, man. I might have weighed that as like a freshman in high school, maybe.
I weighed that when I was working 3 restaurant jobs and training at AKA 3 to 5 days a week.
Oh, fair enough.
Like while working 3 restaurant jobs.
Maybe if you kept working those 3 jobs and training at AKA, maybe you'd be there too. But
my God, I'll take the money I make now and I'll take my face looking like this, you know.
Oh yeah, and the gains, brother. I see those biceps. I see those guns. Come on,
let's go, baby. Let's go. I got that dog in me. So Leo Leach said, "Is this the card of the year? Question mark." Which Mad Max Meridian responded to, "Contender for sure, Leo." I'd say I think this is definitely a contender for best card of the year. I think that International Fight Week card was pretty fucking baller, even without the John Jones fight on it. I think that fight card delivered top to bottom. So, yeah, I mean,
on paper, it's the most deep. I would say 100%.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's pretty close to being the deepest. Losing Ian Gary and Vicente Luque, it hurts it a little bit for sure. But yeah, you want to talk about ending the year with a banger. This is absolute must watch. Absolute banger.
Though, like I'm just gonna, again, you know, I'm big on pointing out the obvious and being bluntly fucking honest here. And you also know that one thing about me is I'm big on analogies, right? So I get what you're saying, like Ian Gary versus Vicente Luque. That's a big card with big future title implications in it. But again, with all due respect, losing that one fight when the rest of the card looks like this is like seeing Megan Fox and then finding out that she's got a weird big toe. Who gives a fuck about her big toe, dog? When people started saying that, I was like, you guys are fucking ridiculous.
Like, I'll take that all day.
Do you not see Transformers, bro? I don't care if she's missing a foot, brother.
And even now, aging like a fine wine. Come on.
She's better now. I literally told, like, me and Mary had never seen the Transformers films. And so, like, I bought the trilogy. I literally have the trilogy sitting next to me.
Never seen them?
She'd never seen them. Yeah. So I was like, dude, they're actually pretty solid movies. They're very fun.
Dude, Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox.
Shia LaBeouf, brother. So I bought them and we watched the first one and she's like, they literally just cast her because she was like eye candy, right? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, I don't even think she's that cute here. And I was like, I know. Like going back and watching it and then comparing it to her now, like
times changed a little bit. Yeah, that's fair. No one had the lip fillers
also, like, and she was like 16, so I can't legally say that I think she's attractive in that film.
Well, when he came out, it was
jail, straight to jail with you.
Shame.
I don't know if you've ever watched Ted Lasso, but the Shame Bell girl is the owner of the soccer team in Ted Lasso.
Oh, no way.
She's incredible. Hannah Waddingham. I feel like I'm all over the place. I'm blaming the Dayquil.
Hey, at least you're clicking on all cylinders, brother. I love it.
You know what I'm saying? We're firing.
Crash right after, but
firing.
That's right. We live and we jabbing.
But you know, until then, we're keeping the fucking energy going, whether it's real, fake, or somewhere in between. And with that being said, guys, we got the next fight. We got Tagir Ulanbekov coming in against Cody Durden, aka Wish.com, Tyler Durden. Everybody here has to have seen Fight Club, right? Come on. Cody Durden is a fucking beast, but Tagir Ulanbekov, this guy, he might have the stuff. You know what I'm saying? Curious to hear your thoughts on this, and I'll actually let you take the lead on this one, Nano. Hot mic, what do you think?
Let's go. I'll be quick, brother, because I love what I'm hearing from you on your end. But yes, moving on up here the card, we got Tagir Ulanbekov, 32 years old, 14-2, 1 KO, 7 submissions. I think we all know what his game plan is going to be going in there against our boy, Cody Durden. And I say our boy because he's representing America. Gotta love that. A lot of America on this card, and I feel like he's represented the right way. Okay, don't need to we'll dive into that a little later. But our boy, Cody Durden, 32 years old, 16-4 record, 6 KOs, 5 subs on a 4-fight win streak. So you know his confidence is going to be through the roof. And it's funny, too, because you tend to see that popping out or poking out throughout his fights. He's pointing at his opponents. He's talking a little mess. He's got that little extra dog in him, a little extra moxie. You know, someone that's in there and you can tell he's feeling it. I love to see it. Not necessarily my style, but I love when a fighter's feeling themselves. You know, from the Bay Area, like Mac Dre once said. If you're in the building, then we're feeling ourselves, then that's a good night, baby. Anyways, should be a strong performance by my boy Cody Durden, and I'm leaning that way. We got 2 ranked opponents here in the featherweight division, or light. Jesus, did I say featherweight? I'm way off. My apologies. What division are they in?
Them boys big.
That's flyweight, baby. I knew it started with an F. Too fly for me. Too fly for this guy. I apologize. I'm driving over here. Flyweight opponents ranked Cody at 15, Tagir at 12. Obviously, both of them are one-dimensional. One's a wrestler, another's a wrestler, but also a little bit more of a grappler, more of a jiu-jitsu kind of guy. I'm going to lean the American here. I'm going to lean the wrestler, okay? This dude, again, fun to watch. He's representing America in the best way. He is the underdog, okay? But the one thing I'm looking at here is Tagir did lose to another absolute dog, okay? I'm talking about Tim Elliott, ladies and gentlemen. And he gave him problems on the ground. He gave him problems standing up. I think Cody Durden can give him a similar dosage of that. It's well-rounded, a little bit of meat and potatoes, but then once you get to the ground, it's a wrap. Give me some Cody Durden, man. I'm liking the underdog here. Some of the odds are crazy. This is a pick'em, so it's not that wild. You'll see some of the underdogs start to get a little bit higher on the odds, but at plus 142, rank 15, and he's been getting better with the stand-up. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts here. I think Cody Durden's going to find a way to get it done. What do you think, brother?
I think you're onto something there, brother. I think you're absolutely right, and I think I did go ahead and send a link to a picture here in the live stream chat. And as I said in the chat, man, I'm going to be looking at Cody Durden on the TV screen the same way that blonde girl to his right is looking at him there in that photo. Because man, he's going to cash a ticket for me this weekend. I can feel it. Tagir Ulanbekov, ladies and gentlemen, the guy's an absolute beast. He's got that stuff, right? His given name on Tapology, I can't even read it because it's in Russian. It's like Rasputin. I mean, he looks like an absolute beast. He is an absolute beast. But he loses to weird, wily guys. Zolga Zumagulov, the long lost Beetle, Timothy Elliott, aka Funky MMA himself, who cast a ticket for us just this weekend. And also, all this guy's wins are literally submissions for the most part. 56% by submission, 43% by decision, none by KO. And I mean, if we're looking at Cody Durden, if this guy loses, I mean, granted, 3 times by submission, like, I mean, I just don't see him getting submitted by this guy. He got submitted by Muhammad Makhayev in 58 seconds of the first round. He was dry. It was early in the fight. And Jimmy Flick, I mean, Jimmy Flick's a fucking MMA anomaly, folks. Like, this guy did a flying triangle on him in round 1. And I mean, I know Mad Max Meridian probably squealed like a schoolgirl when he saw that shit. Because, like, I don't even like grappling. And I was like, oh, yeah, he did the thing. That was awesome. You love to see that kind of shit. But again, I don't think he gets that over Cody Durden. And I also don't know that he's fought a lot of folks in there that have that kind of striking prowess as Cody Durden. Cody Durden likes to go out there and hit people. He's got 6 wins by knockout. 38% of his wins are from knockouts. And I just don't know that this young man, I don't want to say he doesn't like getting hit because not many people do, right? But I don't know that he's able to take the hits that Cody Durden is going to deliver and have the wherewithal to defend the coming strikes after those, let alone set up and sink in a submission of his own. So yeah, I'm going Cody Durden on this one, man. I think Cody Durden is the money in the bank here. I think probably money line on him is the safest bet, which betting MMA is never safe. Even so, though, again, I think that this is probably the way to go. Just because, again, Tagir Ulanbekov, if you wanted to hedge your bet, you could bet on by sub. If he wins this fight, it's going to be by sub. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's just his path to victory. So, yeah, I mean, with that being said, the DraftKings odds are, let's see here. Yeah, we got plus 142 odds right now currently on our guy Cody Durden. I like those odds.
Solid. Yeah. That's not bad. I'm seeing plus 136 myself.
I agree with you here, Mad Max Meridian. He said, man, I don't know. 3 sub losses of his 4 total ain't nice. Makes me a hair skeptical. I mean, you could be a skeptic, but I'm going to be someone that makes money on Saturday. Like real talk, I understand your skepticism there. Having lost 4 fights and 3 of those coming by way of submission, obviously not a great look. But I also just don't think that this guy is a Jimmy Flick in grappling, and I also don't think that he's a Muhammad Makayev. Muhammad Makayev is an absolute beast, and Jimmy Flick has fucking 14 submission wins out of 16 wins in pro mixed martial arts. So again, I like Tagir. I think he's good, but I don't think he's great. I don't think he's Jimmy Flick caliber as far as the grappling goes. You would know better to that tune than I would, Mad Max, because you are definitely more of the grappler here. Feel free to continue breaking that one down. But my money is on Cody Durden, win or lose.
I like it.
No, Draymond Green has been suspended indefinitely from the NBA.
Don't like it. Yeah.
Following him punching. Well, I mean, he's punched, he's kicked, he's choked out. With all due respect, that kid needs a fight. He need a basketball.
He probably will be good in UFC, but no, he has to meet certain criteria in order to get back. I believe something with dealing with his anger issues or doing like some sort of I don't even know if it's a rehab or something. He has to meet certain criteria. So we'll see what happens. Bummer.
Try to make him go to anger management, but he said no, no, no.
Great song. Shout out. Amy Winehouse. Classic.
Classic. So moving into the main event of the early prelims, we got Alonzo Menifield coming in against Dustin Jacoby. Nano. This fight is, I mean, this is just one of those fights where I don't really know what I'm betting on right away, but I definitely know someone's going down hard.
I think that's definitely the bet. That is the bet to make, is that judges won't be required here, that someone's going down, okay? These are two big men throwing nothing but small bit of leather on their fists and some tape. But boy, oh boy, we're going to have some fireworks on this one, brother. Yeah, I think this is going to be one of the Jive Turkey guarantees, man. I don't think this will have a finish. Or, I mean, somebody will get finished. This will not see the end of the fight, I should say. We got the atomic bomb going up here, powered by Alonzo, that is. Menifield, 36 years old, 14-3 record, 10 KOs, 3 subs. I mean, that's, what, 99% of his fights? He finishes you every time. That's pretty darn good. Followed up there on the other side, we got Dustin Jacoby, 35 years old, similar there. 19-7 record, 12 KOs, 1 sub. The dude squared off against Alex Pereira, the light heavyweight champion currently. Dude's been around the block, man. Dustin Jacoby, this is high level kickboxer. And with that kind of pedigree, you know, can he avoid the nuclear atomic bomb here that our boy Alonzo Menifield is going to be throwing for maybe the first, let's say, 7 to 8 minutes? We've seen him gas out. I mean, he is on a 4-fight win streak. One of those was a draw as well against Jimmy Crute. Came back and beat him definitively. But we've seen him gas out before. So, but we also know that Dustin Jacoby's probably not going to try to wrestle fuck him either. So, with that all being said, is Dustin still the warrior that we know? Can he use that, again, kickboxing pedigree? Can he keep Alonzo at bay? Can he keep him guessing? Can he chop at the legs, work the body, maybe land something up top? Ooh, it's a close one. And I mean, Dustin is technically the favorite as of now at a minus 265. You can get Alonzo, again, with that nuclear power at plus 215.
Nuclear,
Ooh.
I think the word you're looking for is atomic.
Atomic, baby. Atomic. It's both
Too
are
easy.
explosive. Too easy. I think I just forgot to say that last time there. But again, man, all things considered, I'm going to go with the high-level kickboxer here. I think I'm going to go with the Dustin Jacoby. Look at that. Again, I like what I'm seeing. I think he has the better skill set going into this fight. And I think because Alonzo's more of like a reactionary counter striker, I don't think Dustin's going to be in the same place for too long. And he's going to be coming up with multiple shots. And he's not going to be going away. I think he's going to be fine. What do you think, brother? Are we agreeing here again, or are we doing more shots?
Holy smokes, my guy. We're fucking, I think this might be the most we've ever agreed on a singular fight card. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah. I mean, this is
This could
definitely
be
one that I
really
agree
good
with
or
you
really
on.
bad.
I think this is going to be really, really good. I mean, yeah, this could be really good or really bad. Us agreeing like this. What I will say is this: like, you'll constantly hear me say MMA math doesn't work, but it's a great barometer, right? It's a great like litmus test to how good these guys are. If they did well against this guy, they might do well against this guy. If they did piss poor against this guy, and this guy's similar, probably going to do piss poor. Now, that being said, when Alonzo Menifield fought against, people like Ovince St. Preux, William Knight, like when people were willing to move forward through the fire, he was not a big fan of it. I'm surprised he got the win over Jimmy Crute the way that he did. After getting the majority draw in the first fight, he got the guillotine in the second round, less than 1.5 rounds into the fight over Jimmy the Brute Crute. And I mean, that was a solid win, but Dustin Jacoby, man, the Hanyak, this guy's an absolute beast. Again, he lost to Khalil Roundtree Jr. That is not a knock on your record, my God. Like that guy is terrifying. That guy beats you like you owe him lunch money and or stole his little sister's bicycle. Like he's trying to kill you. He's not trying to fight you. He's trying to hurt you and take years off of your life, not your career. And then after that, he fought Azamat Murzakanov, who, again, guy's a beast. That guy is undefeated in the UFC right now. I got the flying knee win over Tafon Nchukwi. Got the win over Devin Clark via ground and pound in round 3, and then he got the win over Dustin Jacoby. So that being said, I'm just pointing out his losses. Let's talk about who he's beaten. Deung Jun, Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. I don't think Alonzo Menifield is Oleksiejczuk level when it comes to striking. Oleksiejczuk's willing to throw in the pocket and just really launch forward with all that power. And he's also willing to take shots and move forward. And again, I don't think that Alonzo Menifield has anywhere near the caliber of striking that Oleksiejczuk has. The only thing he has that Oleksiejczuk doesn't is that atomic power. But what does that mean if you can't land and you can't use it? So I'm going with Dustin Jacoby in this one all day. I think stylistically it lines up for him to get the win here. If he loses, it's going to be probably by knockout. These guys are just going to meet in the middle and throw hands. I'm not mad at it, but it is somewhat of a volatile bet. I think maybe taking, I don't even want to take the under on this one because that's tough. There's no under 2.5 odds on it right now, only under 1.5 and at plus 154. Like those aren't sweet enough to sprinkle money on, in my opinion. So I'm going to avoid that one too. If I do anything towards this fight, it's probably going to be a money line on Dustin Jacoby, who's sitting at minus 270 right now. And I'll probably parlay that with somebody else.
I like that. And I think, again, my other hesitation in something like the under is I would favor an Alonzo Menifield victory. Maybe he's going to get Dustin out of there quickly. I just don't see it happening. I think Dustin's going to weather the storm, and the longer it goes on, the more it favors Dustin. Which would maybe potentially take the over just because minus 200. You're not even getting good odds. I don't know. I'd probably stay away from that personally.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I'm probably staying away from that. In this next one, we have two absolutely badass women coming together to throw hands, legs, and everything in between. You got Ariane, the Queen of Violence, Lipski, coming in against King Casey O'Neill. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. I like both of these gals a whole hell of a lot. I think they're both absolute beasts. I mean, you got King Casey O'Neill training out of Extreme Couture, which is just a fucking killer of a gym. Ariane Lipski training out of King's MMA, splitting her camp, to my knowledge, still going to Amanda Nunez's camp and helping out there. I mean, dude, it's going to be a clash of styles, truly. And with Casey O'Neill riding a 1-loss streak here, coming off that loss to Jennifer Maia, and then 2 canceled bouts, 1 canceled bout against Jessica Ai, and another canceled bout against Viviane Araujo. Like, her only notable wins in the UFC recently, or in recent years, are a win in 2021 over Antonina Shevchenko and a win in 2022 over Roxanne Modafferi. I mean, those haven't aged really well because both those women didn't really have a great continuation to their career post those losses to her. Meanwhile, you look at Ariane Lipski standing across from her. Sure, she lost, back in UFC San Diego against Priscilla Cachoeira. I was there. It sucked. I saw her walk past me crying after she lost. It was like heartbreaking to see. But what did she do? She came back with a smile on her face from ear to fucking ear, and she racked up not 1, but 2 back-to-back wins over JJ Aldrich and Melissa Gatto. I think I'm probably going to sprinkle multiple bets on this one. I think I'll probably take money line on Ariane Lipski, and I'll probably take fight to go the distance.
Ooh, I like that, brother. And man, I mean, we're staying on the same path again. I hate to say it, ladies and gents. We typically don't do this. This is not scripted.
What is happening?
This is not fake news, but no, I mean, hey, we like what we like, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I think this is a style of styles, a clash of styles, like you mentioned. Can Casey get Lipski to the ground, or can Ariane Lipski get Casey O'Neill hurt early? Can she put her away, or can she, earn the judges' respect and get the decision win here? Casey's a tough opponent. She's still green in her career, 26 years young. Is she fully there, right? And she is coming off her most recent loss. I'm sure that's going to make her work even harder. And honestly, like with her style, like you're always going to have a little bit of an edge with, just being active, trying to get those takedowns. If you land at least one around, you're already going to be a little bit more, again, like in the advantage in the green in terms of scoring. So that is one thing to consider here. But man, I really like what I've seen from Ariane Lipski as of recent. Yeah, she's had kind of an up and down career. She's, kind of been tickling that top 15 and slowly putting her skill set together. She's just someone fun to watch. I mean, Queen of Violence, great nickname, fine out of Brazil. And again, like the record doesn't really do us justice here. I think those last two wins, we were really starting to see the best version of her. And with that in mind, I mean, that's why I'm leaning that way, especially with plus odds at plus 164 on DraftKings currently. I mean, why not? I mean, again, all fights got to start standing up. And if you're a good striker and she can shut down Casey early, again, maybe when they're still dry, maybe she can hit her with some shots or just threaten her, maybe throw some knees or some leg kicks to let her know, hey, if you're going to come down and shoot, you're going to get something in response. But this will be a fun fight, ladies and gents, and a lot is riding on this for both of these girls in their career. Although I would say Casey O'Neill has a little less pressure. Again, she's still only 26, but she does have that number 12 on her name. And Ariane Lipski wants that. She's been biting at the bit. Like I said, she's been tickling that top 15. She's been flirting with it for a while now. But quit all the lollygagging, quit the horseplay, quit the child's play. Quit the foreplay. Let's get right to it now. Here we go. So yeah, again, I'm going Lipski as well here on this one.
I lost you for just a second on my end. I don't know if the viewers lost you as well.
Ooh, hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Either way, folks, we are here. We are here. We are still here. We are live. I think Ariane Lipski gets it done. Like I said, I'm super stoked for this one, man. I think it's going to be a really fun fight. I don't think it's going to be like one-sided or one-way traffic at all. I just think that Ariane Lipski should be riding a bit of a confidence high, and we know that typically pays dividends in these types of fights when it's a very close matchup otherwise. I mean, the only kind of big slider that Casey O'Neill has on her side, just 3 years of age on her side, Father Time, and she also has 2 inches of reach. So aside from that, War Lipski, baby, let's go. I'm riding with Lipski on this one. This next one's a tough one. I think this might be the first time where we side differently. This might be the first time where we side differently. Here we go. Cody, no love, Garbrandt, coming in against Brian, boom, Kelleher. My goodness. I'm just going to ask you right off the bat with no analysis. Who are you on this one?
I got nothing but love for my guy, Cody. No love, Garbrandt, baby. I know he's up and down, but I got to go for my guy, Cody Garbrandt. And we'll take a shot on this one because...
We'll go ahead and do a preemptive one on this one because I'm against you. I'm all in against you. I love Cody Garbrandt, by the way. Also met him with that UFC Sacramento card. Big fan of his.
Yeah, we did both get
is him blurry as fuck because we're both laughing at me saying I can't wait to watch him beat Dominic Cruz. Man,
boy, did he do so! And
did he?
Just by happenstance, we both happened to be at that card. For those that don't know, me and Olin, before we knew each other, before the MMAnomaly and Jive Turkey were who we are today, we happened to be at that same card and the same audience. watching the same blood be drawn from these opponents. It was a fun night, but I digress.
Back and looked at that card the other day, and holy smokes, dude, there were some like studs on the undercard, and we're like, whoa!
It wasn't even sold out either. Oh no, it's crazy. It was
Uriah Faber's retirement fight. Wild, bro.
Wild. Do you have that shot ready?
I do. You already know it, baby. Cheers to us finally having a little competition here.
There we go. And if you're listening, feel free to drink or spark up or do whatever you do.
Drink, clink, do whatever you want to do, whatever makes you smile. And toke, smoke, give yourself a stroke, whatever you need to do, baby. Not the medically bad stroke, like you know what I'm saying?
The good kind.
And we just got canceled.
And there we go.
Just kidding, folks. No, but in all seriousness, Cody No Love Garbrandt coming in here against Brian Boom Kelleher. This one has fireworks written all over it. Big Cody Garbrandt fan, have been for many, many years. I was on that Cody No Love train before a lot of folks were. But one thing I've learned over the years, folks, is when to jump off the train. Okay. And it's typically when it's not fun anymore. The train has not been fun for some time now. Lost to Rob Font. That's aged pretty well because Rob Font's an absolute fucking stud. Kai Kara France, that didn't age the best. Ronnie Yaya, canceled out. Ronnie Yaya, canceled out. Julio Arce, canceled out. Mario Bautista, canceled out. At this point, if I'm throwing a bet on it, I'm betting that the fight probably doesn't fucking happen, Nano. The guy...
Don't you put that evil on me.
He's had every fight canceled the last 3 years. And if you look at kind of what's happened across the last, 5-6 years, the guy's had 2 wins, 5 losses, and 6 canceled fights. That's not a good look, my guy. I like Cody. I really do. But we gotta face the music here, and we gotta smell the roses when it comes to Brian Boom Kelleher. Very, very well-rounded in his finishes. He's got 8 wins by KO/TKO, 10 wins by submission, and 6 wins by decision. I don't think it gets much more well-rounded than that. Oh, and he's coming off a couple losses, folks. But he actually did fight Mario Bautista. He's the guy they fed to Mario Bautista when that fight got canceled against fucking Cody, folks. He's the guy that steps up. And that's exactly what he's doing this weekend. They're finally giving him a favorable matchup for him to step up to, because the last ones that he stepped up to are Cody Stamen, Ricky Simone, Umer Nurmagomedov, when nobody else was willing to fight the guy. I just think Brian Kelleher has lost to people that most people lose to. Marlon Chito Vera, fucking John Hands of Stone Lineker. Come on. He also has wins over people like Hayden Barao, Julio Arce, Ode Osborne, Hunter Azure. And let me tell you, the way that he fucking knocked Hunter Azure's block off with that left hook, if that left hook Larry shows up on Saturday, Cody's getting no love from the fans. As sad as it's going to be to see.
Oh, man. Well, I've seen it live at UFC 269 in Vegas. I've seen Cody lose to Kai Kara France. That was very disappointing. But and I am biased. I will have to admit, I do have, friends of my dad's family friend, my guy Gene out here in Arizona. He's family friends with the Garbrandts. He knows Cody. He was actually there in the suite with Cody and his family. They're hanging out. He knows them very well. I haven't heard some stuff behind the scenes that I was like, oh, dang, okay, no wonder why maybe
Sweet
he lost.
Life of your friend and Cody?
That's right. Sweet life of Gene and Cody. But yeah, man, so a little bit more of a closer connection myself. I'm going to be biased here, and I'm just going to lean the younger fighter, the more explosive fighter, the better athlete in Cody Garbrandt. Yes, who made the joke in here? Let me call you out. Is that Leo Leach? Calling Cody Iron Shin Garbrandt. Very funny. Okay, we all know it's probably Iron Glass Shin. We might need to add in there because, things fragile. Okay, we know. We've seen it. But he's taking the time off, okay? And he had that early run. He got the notoriety. He has done just about everything you need to do in the division. But he's still so young in his career, still has that athleticism. Think he got everything right in his personal life, in his family life. Now nothing but to continue to use athleticism, build upon your skills, and go out and be, I think, just the sharper, more athletic, more explosive fighter here. The one thing I will say with Brian Boom Kelleher is not booming as much lately in terms of the actual knockouts. He hasn't had one since 2020. And within that time frame, he's lost 4 times. He's only won 3 times, again, since that last knockout. So I just don't expect him to have more power now, 3 years later. I don't expect him, although, I mean, I don't know, maybe a 4-year-old in a pinata can maybe knock Cody out. I'm just saying, I don't think it's going to happen here in Brian Boom Kelleher. I don't think he has that capability. Could he take him to the ground and, choke him out so he's unconscious? Probably. But I'm not going to think about that. I know that. I'm going Cody No Love Garbrandt, brother. I got to stick with my boy. Cause I think he's going to put some leather on the broom, Kelleher here, and find a way to get it done. Well, we'll have a shot right now, brother. Let's go.
No, I part of me truly hopes you're right, man. Part of me truly hopes you're right, but I can't get behind it, my guy. As much as I love Cody No Love, I can't do it.
And let the record show I am in agreement with DraftKings and with Vegas, okay? Because Cody is the favorite going in here at -198. So you are the MMA anomaly here, brother.
Yay! I got to go to the chat real quick because Leo Leach just said the funniest shit ever. So I let him know, like, he's still asking for his fight on EA UFC 5. Haven't given it to him yet. Candidly, I've played the game a whopping 3 sittings. Not very long sittings either. We're talking like 30 minutes, an hour max. The first 2 sittings were just basically me making my tattoos in the fucking game. Speaking of which, I actually found a dev for EA Sports UFC that responds to people on Twitter. I tagged him in it and asked him if they can add white circles in the tattoo custom section. And he literally said he's going to get back to me on it today. So I might finally get to make my fucking cap shield with white circles instead of yellow circles. Would be so stoked, folks.
Sick.
So, yeah, Leo Leach said he's played it for over a day. So, I mean, he's probably going to wreck me. I told him, look, I'll give him a striking only match after this. And then he said he's going to beat me. He's going to outstrike me as Ben Askren. Fun fact, and Nano here can attest to this. Back when EA UFC 4 first came out, that was my favorite character to do striking only backyard brawls with, was Ben Askren. And I would pray in my heart of hearts that my opponent was going to pick Jorge Masvidal. And I knocked out Jorge Masvidal so many times in that game.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I mean, the striking is quite different in EA UFC 5, but I feel more adept at the striking than I do with the grappling. So, Leo, I will give you your match, God willing, if I'm not like fucking just ready to knock out after this. Either way, you will get your match this fucking week, my guy. Moving into the next fight here, because we all know my bet is on Brian Boom Kelleher. I'm also going to go at him with, I think I'm going to say inside the distance if I see those odds pop up for me, probably. And of course, Leo Leach said he's bad at striking, but good at grappling. Perfect. You have more experience on the game, so it should be even on the striking then.
And under
the next fight.
Yeah, I was say under 2.5 on that's -115. So not bad odds.
Not bad odds at all, brother. Yeah, I like inside the distance for that one. I think it's probably a safe bet either side. Yeah, might even just sprinkle a little bit on fight does not go the distance, because then, either side wins, we win. Moving into the next one, speaking of we win, Irene Aldana versus Karol Rosa. This is a really, really fun matchup. I got to be honest with you, though. Karol Rosa, as good as she is, she hasn't really impressed me a whole lot, right? Like, she has a win over Jocelyn Edwards, which was, her one of her bigger UFC wins, probably Jocelyn Edwards, and the win over Betch Correia. Betch Correia hasn't really consecutively won fights in years. Sarah McMahon, we're talking about someone that fought against Ronda Rousey when Ronda Rousey was in her prime. Norma Dumont, she got beat by Norma Dumont. She also got beat by Sarah McMahon. Yana Santos, not the winningest record either. right? Like she's on a 3-fight skid to Irene Aldana, Holly Holm, and Carol Rosa. Basically, Carol Rosa's record, everything good about it has already been done previously and better by the woman that she's going out there to face on Saturday night, and Irene Aldana. Irene Aldana is one of the more fun fighters to watch in the women's bantamweight division for me specifically. Standing at 5'8", she's an inch shorter than me, 2 inches shorter than me on my best day. You know what I'm saying? She has a 68.5-inch reach. She's a beast. She's got a fantastic set of boxing skills. And dude, like let's just be honest here. Her footwork is just levels above so many of the women in the bantamweight division here. The way that she dances around and hits these combinations on most of these women is it's a sight to behold. The only person that's really been able to like put a stop to her like footwork and movement, or rather the only people, are Raquel Pennington, Holly Holm, and Amanda Nunes. Like, come on. That's not the craziest losses in the world. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Nunes versus Aldana, like that probably shouldn't have happened nearly as early as it did. But they knew that Nunes was on her way out and they needed people for her to beat up or fight. So they fed an early in development Irene Aldana to her. I just think that she's leaps and bounds ahead of Carl Rosa. And man, I just think stylistically, this isn't the best matchup for Carl Rosa. Carl Rosa is a grinder. If she wins 9 out of 10 times, it's going to be by decision. 65% of all of her wins in pro MMA have come by way of decision. So you think she's going to go out there and point fight against Irene Aldana? I don't fucking think so, dog. I just think Irene Aldana's too good and also too mean to let something like that happen. What are your thoughts on this one, brother?
I agree wholeheartedly. We can even keep it short and sweet here. I think Irene Aldana is a beast. And not just because I'm Mexican, but I think obviously outside of her matchup against Amanda Nunes, which she makes all girls look like they don't even deserve to be in there. I do think Irene Aldana is very skilled. Her boxing and frankly her jab specifically, I think, is gonna be the difference in this fight. And it's just gonna be hard to deal with. You know, Carol Rosa, she's a great talent. Like you said, I mean, she's really durable, able to edge it out. She's a little bit of a bigger girl. I mean, she's listed at 145, even at 157 here on UFC, which is, you know, saying a lot, I guess. That's not even a division anymore. But yeah, all things considered, I think Irene is going to be able to use her speed, her boxing, her ability to mix it up. Great at countering. I don't know if Carol's really great at wrestling. I didn't do a ton of research on her fights thus far, like to see if that's maybe a huge part of her game. I'm quickly going to try to look at maybe some of the statistics here on UFC, but unless she's like a mini Khabib, I just don't see a way that she's going to be able to win on the judges' cards when Irene is going to be so just dominant on the feet, landing a lot of strikes at high volume. She's not going to go anywhere for 15 minutes. So sign me up for Irene. Probably by decision, though, because, yeah, this Carol Rose is pretty durable. And most of the time, she's going to decision.
So basically, it sounds like you're leaning towards Irene Aldana, or
yes,
to go to the distance, possibly.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Nice. I think those are solid odds. I mean, Irene Aldana is an absolute beast here. I really like her in this one. She's not a dog. You know, I usually like to go for dogs, but sometimes when it doesn't make sense, we don't go for the dogs. But in this next one, you can bet your fucking ass we will be. We got Josh Emmett coming in against Bryce Pasture Fire Mitchell. The man released a rap album called Pasture Fire. It's fire. It's Pasture Fire. I'm gonna try and download one of them tracks, see if I can play it without getting us DCMA on here one of these times. If he wins on the follow-up show next week, we will play Pasture Fire song while we break down that fight.
Please do.
Now, I'm gonna let you take the lead on this one, Nano. Who do you have? This might be another one where we differ.
Oh, baby, this is a banger, man. We got Josh Emmett coming in here. Let's go, baby. Banger, brother. Coming in at that 6th ranking next to his name at the featherweight division. Obviously coming off the loss, the unfortunate, especially at that age, 38 years old, 18-4 record though, 6 KOs, 2 subs. Dude's an absolute savage, but we did see him get exposed, man. He doesn't want to get to the ground, and he wants to go out there and try and put your lights out and make you uncomfortable in there. But he was originally squared off to face somebody else. It was not going to be Bryce Mitchell. It was Giga Chikadze, I believe. Is that correct?
That's correct. Giga Chikadze, the owner of the Giga Kick.
And what happened there? Was it an injury?
He completely tore his groin. There's actually video of it. So he was sparring. He threw a kick himself and literally. So if these are his legs, you see one leg come up, and as it comes up and around, it gets about here, and then you hear him scream in pain like a small child and fall to his back.
Right. No.
It's bad. It's a bad video to watch.
Yeah.
And like you can't see anything, like there's no bone or anything, like nothing crazy like visible, but just the sound he makes, the reaction, you can tell it's not a good thing, bro. Like
that sucks. Yeah. So hopefully for a speedy recovery for him. That's not ideal. Especially
and shout out to Giga. He is one of the coolest fighters I've ever met. When I met him at International Fight Week, I asked if I could do a face off with him. They had chairs separating us from the fighters, and he's like, yeah, for sure. He moved the chairs out of the way, steps up to me, and as soon as I flexed, he smirks and he's all, okay. Gets all over my fucking face.
That's so sick.
I peed a little bit. Sorry for your breakdown there, brother.
No, brother, not at all, man. I mean, short and sweet. I just think Bryce Thug Nasty Mitchell, man, I think he has the recipe for disaster here for our boy Josh Emmett. He's going to wrestle fuck him. He's going to come in on short notice. That's a little bit of a concern, but you don't take it unless you're ready. It's not like Bryce really has cut a lot of weight. I mean, he looks to seem, pretty much what he is. I'm curious if they'll be at a catch weight or not, or how that'll work. But I mean, yeah, brother, again, all things considered, we got number 10 against number 6. It's a big jump for our boy Bryce here. Yeah, man, it's just going to be a fun fight, but I do think Bryce is going to find a way to out wrestle him and, strike when needed, but it's going to be a lot of wrestling in this.
So I just got possibly the best miniseries idea ever from Leo Leach. He said in the chat, what fighter haven't you met at MMAnomaly? You should make a series. How I Met Your Fighter. Dude, it's so good. It's so fucking good.
You got to throw a patent on that one. Dana White's going to steal it.
You heard it first here. How I Met Your Fighter. Future series coming to the MMAnomaly Show. We'll call it the MMAnomaly Show. How I Met Your Fighter. Yeah, that'll be a fun little series, man.
When we meet up live, I would say when we meet up live, we can try to do different, I guess, personas, different types of fighters, and meeting them in different ways or whatever. Oh, hey, you spar, bro?
Sure. Hey, I will say one of the funniest fighter interactions I've ever had, though, was Super Sage Northcutt. I met him at a local fight event in Stockton. Fun fact, it was, I think, my 3rd or 4th week at Yelp. Me and you, had just barely met one another. And one of the training sales managers was an amateur fighter, trained with Nick and Nate over in Stockton, was on a fight card. And he's like, dude, you're into MMA, right? And I was like, I'm super into MMA. And so he's like, I'm having a fight on this date. Would love it if you came. So we went, and Sage Northcutt was there. And I was like, holy shit, that's Sage Northcutt. Baby, I'll be right back. I'm going to go take a picture with Sage. And she's like, fuck yeah. So I walk up to Sage, and I was like, hey, Sage. And he's like, hey, man. And I was like, can I take a picture with you? I'm a big fan. And he's like, oh, of course you can, sir. I'm really glad to hear that. Thank you so much, sir. He called me sir 3 fucking times, bro. He is the guy that he plays on TV. Super Sage Northcutt is that.
That's real, yeah.
Nice young man who you feel had to been raised in Louisiana or Texas and had the dad and mom like I did, where it's you better fucking say yes, ma'am, or yes, sir, or no, sir, or no, ma'am, or you're getting a busted lip, young man.
He's a nice boy. He's a nice boy.
He's a very nice young man. He's a very nice young man, Sage next door. You ought to let him take you out to prom.
He's a nice young boy. He's a good boy.
Nice young boy. He's the type of young boy you want to bring home to
Good boy. He's a good boy.
No, he's a really nice kid, though. Very, very fun meeting. And yeah, man, look out for that series coming in the future. So, Josh Emmett versus Bryce Mitchell. Man, I'm not going for the round earther, or the flat earther, I should say. I I am going for Josh Emmett in this one. I think Josh Emmett is he's someone that is kind of a little bit of a dog. He's got big, heavy hands, and if you let him, he's going to throw him. I really like Josh Emmett in this fight for a number of reasons. The main reason being what we saw from his opponent in his last fight. I've been a big Bryce Mitchell fan for a long time. Was not a fan of what I saw in that last fight at all. Young man went out there and, I'm saying last fight. His last fight was against Dan Ige, but the burning impression that's in my mind is that Ilya Topuria fight. And it just looked like he did not want to be there. He's getting pelted. He was getting beat up. In the Dan Ige fight, he actually looked pretty darn good. So that's the thing about Bryce is he's semi-inconsistent here.
I mean, he doesn't deal well with strikers, and Josh Emmett can put leather on you. So that's the scary part in this one.
It's tough to bet on someone who doesn't like to get hit or has shown signs of not liking getting hit when the person that he's going in against is arguably one of the heavier hitters of the weight class. For that reason, I'm either going to bet Josh Emmett on this one, or I'm going to bet the under 2.5 on this one. Again, not necessarily the juiciest line in the world, but it's also plus 145. I think both these guys are heavy finishers. One of them is going to be looking to get his like third or 15th twister in the fucking UFC, and the other one's going to be looking to get his third or fourth knockout in the UFC. So both these guys are going to be looking to control the pace and where the fight takes place. Because again, as you pointed out, I believe like if the fight stays on the feet here, it's Emmett's world. But even if Emmett's on top, he's in danger of being submitted by somebody like Bryce Mitchell. So tough outing for the CCO here, Josh Emmett. I don't know where the fuck he got that nickname, CCO. Josh CCO Emmett. Is that really his nickname? Is it CC0? I don't fucking know. It's a weird nickname. If we're just betting on nicknames, I'm going for Thug Nasty here because that's just a fucking killer nickname. Way better than CC0.
Facts. I don't even see it on Share Dogs. So yeah, maybe it is, or maybe he doesn't have one.
You know what I'm saying? Weird. Weird. So Vicente Luque versus Ian Gary was a very fun fight that we were pretty fucking excited about, if I'm being completely honest with you. I, for one, know that I was stoked. I was stoked to talk about this fight. I had some solid notes written down and prepared for it. And I truly did think that Vicente Luque was going to go out there and just fucking beat the brakes off of this cook. But I digress. The fight is apparently not happening because Ian Gary is too sick to fight. I'm here. I'm sick. I got the flu. I'm fucking podcasting my ass off. I'm casting these pods. If there's a pod to be cast, you can bet your ass I'm casting it. Okay? Yeehaw! So we out here, baby. We out here. And I'm asking, where the fuck is Ian Gary? Somebody save me. Because I don't want to see him. That song is incredible by Froggy Fresh. Listen to it.
I think you got another soundbite too in regards to Ian and your question just now.
Let's go. Let's see it, baby. Let's see here. So this guy said, I thought Gary was going to school him. Well, if by school him you mean teach him things from grade school, since Ian Gary just recently got out of grade school, you're probably right. But when it comes to fighting, I think Vicente Luque was going to beat the good old brakes off of him. Now, I did see a comment that Leo Leach 5 said in the chat earlier, but I didn't want to put him on blast. But since he said he thought Gary was going to school him, the guy also said that this is the first card that he knows everybody on the card. That tells me that you're, I don't want to say casual fan, but you're definitely a newer fan to mixed martial arts, right? Because I hate the term casual. But that tells me that you're fairly new to the game of mixed martial arts. I would say relatively new, maybe in the past 3 to 5 years. If that's the case, I don't know that you know who Vicente Luque is, and you're probably riding the Ian Gary train, and that would be a bit of a problem. Okay. I don't
drink the Kool-Aid. Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
They spiked it with not good stuff. Okay. It's not good stuff. So yeah, I don't know, man. I was excited about that fight. Pretty bummed that it's off the card. Do you want to break that down at all, or you want to share your thoughts on it, or you want to just steamroll right into the next one, brother?
We keep it moving. We kind of broke it down at the beginning of the ep in terms of, the news, how we kind of felt about it. But Leo Leach, man, appreciate the comments here. And, he mentions Luque not having a lot of head movement or maybe just kind of being one dimensional and Gary being a sharp shooter. Hey, and that's a great analysis. I love that you're even that detailed, even in just a year or two watching the sport. That's badass, man. And I think you're absolutely right. I think my only response there is what is Vicente Luque doing when his head is perhaps not moving? Is he throwing his combinations? Is he blitzing in to get Ian moving backwards? And in that scenario, that's where I'm a little worried about Ian Gary, because he's been connected before. I mean, we saw Kenan Song drop him, and Kenan Song is a great puncher, but he's not a Vicente Luque when it comes to the ability to fight in the pocket. And I think that's maybe what we're talking about here as well. All things considered, man, anything can happen. I mean, Ian Gary's a big, strong son of a gun. And unfortunately, now we just get to continue to talk about it and, agree to disagree, I guess, on who is going to win or not, because it sounds like it's not happening anymore. So we're just doing woulda, coulda, shouldas at this point. Keep it moving. I don't know if we could, I don't know if you're...
Boom.
Or can you hear me?
That's what we got to do. You got to just keep it moving, keep it going, keep it rolling. And just like we say in this fight game, we got to do the same thing with this fight card. We got to roll with these punches, folks. I appreciate it, Leo Leach. Even Leo Leach in the chat. You're muted. My fucking guy. Man. Blame it on the Dayquil. I'm just kidding. I do this when I'm not on Dayquil. So it's okay. So that being said, I guess we can go ahead and jump into this next fight. We got a legend in Tony Ferguson coming in against Patty the Baddie Pimblett. And I actually think I might just let you lead us off on this one, Nano. I don't know what you think about that.
Ooh. Here we go. Give me the platform. I love it, brother. I appreciate it. But this is a banger, man. Like you mentioned, Tony El Cucuy Ferguson, somebody who, again, for the Leo Leaches of the world, the new crew, the new kids on the block, Tony Ferguson, El Cucuy, at one point in time was an absolute savage. This guy was a legitimate killer. Okay, he had one of the longest fight winning streaks at the time. He was pound for pound one of the top at the time behind Khabib. He was supposed to fight Khabib. He was the interim champion at the time. He was supposed to have the unified bout against Khabib at that time. And in typical Tony fashion, man, he's found a way to hurt himself. Fight never happened. Now you fast forward and it's a new game. You had a new class of absolute savages. I'm talking about the Justin Gaethjes, the Dustin Poiriers, Charles Oliveira's, Michael Chandler's. Again, all guys that Tony has fought in his latter half of his career and has just unfortunately been on the opposite side of it. It's crazy. He may have had one of the longest winning streaks, and he's probably going to now have one of the longest losing streaks. It's very sad to see, but one thing I will say, all things considered, is that you are going to get nothing short of a good time when you have Tony Ferguson there in the press conferences, on the fight card. Not going to disappoint. And like you said, one thing that stood out to me when I'm watching some of the media scrums and things that Tony's saying building up into the fight, he wants to cut this kid, man. He means business, right? And I think that is going to be his X factor here. He's not going to try to be able to throw the ones and twos against Patty the Baddie. He's going to need to get a little crafty, throw those elbows. There it is.
Are you fucking talking about this, right? No. What the fuck are you talking about there, Jive Turkey Nano?
Oh no! I was waiting for Patty the Baddie to get off.
I'm gonna beat the fucking brakes off him. beat the fucking brakes off of Tootie.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to sleep to the guy with the baseball. What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about, lad? It's
This
the
is not
Baddie
scripted.
Nation. It's the fucking Baddie Nation.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have our first interview on the MMAnomaly Show, no filter for the audio visual listeners. We have Patty the Baddie here. I am speechless right now, shaking his hair around with the canning resemblance. The beard looks very similar to ours, MMAnomaly, but it appears to have Patty the Baddie in the flesh,
Who the
brother.
fuck is that guy? MMAnomaly. It's fucking Patty the Baddie.
Looking
me
bad
song,
as
mate?
ever. I mean, hey, entrance like no other. That was WWE-esque, brother. You were ready for the big show. You are the big ticket. You are the golden goose. You are the cash cow in the UFC. What do you have to say for yourself and then for your opponent, El Kakui? What are you going to do to him on Saturday night?
Knock him out with a clean left hand. Gonna knock him out with a clean left. It's gonna be a right and then a left and a left and a right. I might even invite Ian Gary's wife in there with me. Fucking hell.
Oh, everyone could get it. Let's go, Patty the Baddie.
She's sliding them DMs.
You'll do nothing.
Fucking nothing.
Oh, I love it, brother.
I'm a Scouser. We don't get knocked out. Scousers don't get knocked out.
From Liverpool, isn't it?
I'm not sure what happened there. Lost connection there for a minute, you guys.
Wow.
That was weird.
I think Patty might have intercepted our stream. We got to talk to our producers.
Shout out to Combs' Life, the homie from Victory MMA. Let's go. Glad to see you in the live, brother.
Came just in time.
Obviously, you haven't seen me at the gym lately. I have the flu right now. I'm faking it very, very well. I'm feeling good, but don't want to get all you guys sick right before the holidays. So now that I'm back and I have connection to the show again, I'm going to go ahead and give my breakdown on Paddy Pimblett versus his opponent, Tony Ferguson. Folks, I mean, I like Tony Ferguson, especially when he's not going against Khabib Nurmagomedov, as Joe Rogan said. Nurmagomedov. I like Tony Ferguson a lot. As long as he's not going against any of my other favorite fighters, I'll bet for this guy. And when he's going against someone that I dislike as much as Paddy Pimblett, sheesh. You already know I'm hammering that line, baby. Especially when they're giving us beautiful odds. Like, I don't know, plus 250? Plus 250 on Tony. A Tony that dropped Bobby Green. A Tony that dropped Michael Chandler and looked, dare I say, a bit sniper-like in that first round against Michael Chandler. Man. Oh, let me just be the first to tell you. Tony gets the knockout in round 2. Tony gets the knockout in round 2. Holy shit, did Leo Leach really just say the same thing in the chat? Bet $1,000 on Tony Ferguson round 2 KO.
Oh, no way.
You've seen my tweet. I literally tweeted yesterday a picture that I photoshopped hilariously of Tony Ferguson landing a whopper of a hand on Paddy Pimblett. And I said, I just got back from the future. I've watched UFC 296. Tony Ferguson did it. He's knocked out Paddy Pimblett in round 2. I just think Paddy is going to get knocked the fuck out. He's going to get knocked the fuck out.
I mean, need we say too? I mean, Tony's been training with David Goggins. I mean, my goodness.
Julian Rosa made Paddy puke. He had too much of Juicy J's juice, baby. That's actually Julian Rosa's nickname, Juicy J.
Is it really? Nice.
Yeah, I didn't make that up. I wish I made that up. Yeah, I've been saying it since the fight's been announced too, Leo Leach. He said he's been saying it since the fight's been announced that Tony Ferguson wins in round 2. Paddy is one of those guys that's really, really good at landing shots, but he also does this. And if you're watching the video version of this, you can see that no matter what I'm doing with my hands, my head isn't fucking moving. And then when someone throws at him, instead of doing this, pinning his chin down into his chest, right? So that it's harder to hit him in these like precious spots and keeping his hands up and glued to his fucking head. Instead, he does this. He slides out of range, leaving his chin wide open and in the air. And boy, I don't know, dude. I think he's going to get knocked the F out. I think Tony Ferguson's going to land just a creepy, crazy cross. He's going to cover a lot of ground, a lot of distance, and it's going to be disgusting. And he's going to pull a baseball out of his UFC shorts. And I don't know, probably say he's retiring from MMA and going into baseball full time. Because that just feels like a Tony Ferguson move.
I mean, I love everything about Tony Ferguson and everything that surrounds him and the press conferences and everything. That was kind of what I was mentioning before my interview with Patty the Batty there. But because I had the chance to interview Patty the Batty, I think I'm leaning that direction. I know he does a lot of those things. He is a little sloppy when it comes to, or lackadaisical. He has his hands down. He keeps that chin up, maybe just because he has a long neck. Something about it. It worries me, but man, if this was Tony, like even a few years ago, I would maybe feel different. But at 39, and oh man, I after the wars he's been in, just the overall attrition, I just don't think he's gonna have enough, especially if Patty the Batty just decides to start judo throwing him around, making it wrestling based and making it ugly. It can be one-sided real quick. So I'm taking Patty the Batty on this one, brother. Hate to say it.
Well, feels like another shot-worthy moment.
Absolutely.
My goodness.
You might need to send me where you get that link to that wig too. I might be getting one.
Hey, check it out, brother. Tony Ferguson's the type of guy. Tell the referee, protect yourself at all times. All right. I'm just saying.
That's a good one. That's the best one yet.
I don't know if you know this, but every night before bed, the boogeyman checks his closet for Tony Ferguson. Go fuck yourself.
He is El Kukui. That is boogeyman.
Leo Leach 5 said, I shouldn't be taking Patty because I'm a fan from the UK. I want to say something like, to be on your side, like, no, you shouldn't. But every fighter from Louisiana, I'm all the fuck about. And every fighter that's trained at AKA, which is where I first started training, I mean, I'm riding that train till the wheels fall off, brother. And I'm with you. I'm taking Tony Ferguson. Again, I trained at AKA. So by all rights, you would think I'd just bet against the boogeyman that everyone thought was going to beat Khabib. Really happy that fight never happened. I don't think anybody actually wanted to see the outcome of that. I just think Khabib would have beat Prime Tony and it wouldn't have been a fun fight, and it would have ruined the allure even more than what we've had happen to Tony in the past couple years. So that is what it is. Leo, go fuck yourself, kid. Leo in the chat, he will always harp on this. Islam lost against Volk in the first fight. No, he didn't, bro. It's 3-2. It's 3-2. Okay. It's 3-2. So moving into the next fight, this is probably, other than the Tony Ferguson versus Patty Pimblett, like Patty Pimblett versus Tony Ferguson, I'm walking towards the TV saying, all right, I'm ready to be heard again. This next fight is one I'm just walking towards the TV and also kind of saying, all right, I'm ready to be heard again. Because Stephen Thompson, I love this guy. Don't want to see him lose, but fuck. Shavkat Rakhmonov. I mean, on my notes, I literally wrote down, this feels like the Karate Kid himself versus the ultimate final evolution epitome of a Cobra Kai fighter. I mean, Cobra Kai, like those guys are strike first, strike hard, no mercy. Sir, they're trying to finish the fight. They're trying to silence you. They're trying to destroy you. And I feel like it's exactly what Shavkat Rakhmonov does. He's the ultimate finisher in the UFC with 17 fights and 17 finishes, 9 by way of submission, 8 by way of KO/TKO. Dude is a stud. But can't help but think he was getting pieced up a little bit in that fight against Jeff Neal. And when it comes to Stephen Thompson, be hard pressed to find a more accurate striker. Fuck, if Mike Goldberg was still on the mic, he would say, Joe, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson has some of the most accuracy you'll ever see inside of the UFC octagon. Fun fact, I wish I could say I made that joke up, but he actually said that real quote about Anderson Silva years ago. So I think he has some of the most accuracy you will see inside of the UFC octagon. And that's going to make for a tough night for Kazakh's very own Shavkat Rakhmonov. I think Shavkat brings a number of skills to the table, one of which is the fact that he has arguably, like, I don't know. Like he's got this finishing innate ability. He can finish the fight wherever it goes, standing, sitting, on his back, on your back. It doesn't matter, bro. He just sees things and he's always going for these finishes. But that being said, you got an elite level specialist coming in against him in Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is someone that is able to switch stance on a whim. He's able to do it with both hands. He's fought a who's who, right? He's fought Johnny Hendricks, Patrick Cote, Robert Whitaker, Rory McDonald, Jorge Masvidal, Tyron Woodley multiple times, Anthony Pettis. Like the list goes on. Matthew Immortal Brown. Like this dude has been around the block. Mind you, he fought Matt Brown back in April of 2012. It was over a literal decade ago. Okay, so this guy has seen a lot of things. And you know, I always want to go with the old dog in this. You know that about me, especially if he's an underdog. You know I love to bet on the underdog. But this is going to be one of those where I'm hedging my bets. There's a reason Vegas odds have Shavkat Rakhmonov for the money line at minus 650. That being said, I'll probably set up an underdogs parlay. The original plan here was to set up Tony Ferguson parlayed with Stephen Thompson money line. That would have netted you plus 1895. In which one unit would have turned into 19.95 units. So pretty damn solid bet there. I think that's a really, really solid one. Since we don't have Tony Ferguson on the card anymore, obviously, there's a little bit of a wrench in that one. You know what that means? We're just going to have to find another dog. And I think we already have one. Probably going to end up betting on a dog in the next fight here. That'll be one unit to net 14.82 units on a two-pick parlay, and I'm not mad at that shit either. So before we jump into that one, I am going to go ahead and hit the nail in the coffin here and say my brain pick, Shavkat Rakhmonov, inside the distance. Probably going to sprinkle some money on that. And yeah. Oof. I mean, sorry, I said Tony Ferguson is on the card. No. I meant to say Vicente Luque is not on the card. So I will be doing the Tony Ferguson one. I've been mixing up those two matches all fucking week, bro. I don't know why.
It's your sick brain, brother. Don't worry about it. It's the meds.
So yeah, I will actually be doing, you know what? Maybe I'll do all fucking three. We'll hit 5,000 odds on this. One unit into 51 units. Who thinks that's a fun idea?
Sheesh. I like it.
I'm not mad about it.
Go home, baby. Go bigger, go home. Baby. Yes, though.
So yeah, I got Shavkat winning this one inside the distance, but I'm not mad at sprinkling a little bit on a Stephen Wonderboy Thompson win either. He's a fucking beast. He can grind him out. And he's only been submitted, I think, one time, right? Has he ever been submitted? He's never been submitted.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think he's.
And he's only ever been knocked out by the Superman hook from Anthony Pettis. Disgusting.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts.
You know you're a fucking monster of a man when someone has to invent a new strike to beat you. And that's your only KO loss.
And he had to use the fence to kind of help generate the extra power. Yeah. No, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, man.
Hook is disgusting.
That's pretty nasty. Anthony Pettis is a G. He's a G. Man, and so is Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I mean, Wonderboy is a Hall of Famer. He's a walking legend, literally the nicest guy ever. And he's a true martial artist to its core. He promotes the karate background, and that's what he spends his life doing, even to this day. Has the gym, to this day, has a gym, training a bunch of kids, training the next generation. And yeah, it feels kind of like a, Rocky 5 kind of dynamic here with, Wonder Boy being Rocky and Shavkat being the young Tommy Gunn, the young buck, because I'm sure if you love mixed martial arts, and obviously you're Shavkat, you're fighting in the same division, you watch them game tape, you watch them film, you watch other fighters, you've seen Wonder Boy strike. I mean, it's perfect. I mean, it's a thing of beauty. Like if you have never done it, go maybe before a workout or when you're in the sauna, or maybe right before you're going to go do some bag work or something, or just to pump yourself up, man, go throw on a Stephen Wonderboy highlight clip on YouTube's, and you won't be disappointed, ladies and gentlemen. Dude is a highly decorated karate champion, made his way into the UFC with already known as just one of the best kickboxers, one of the best fighters out there on the planet. Had some phenomenal performances, and up until this point in his career, I mean, has defied Father Time, has defied against all the odds. And man, I'm gonna pour one out because, you know, Wonder Boy's days are numbered. This is a legend. I do think if anyone's gonna force Shavkat to a decision, it's gonna be the Hall of Famer, the legend, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I think I do disagree with you in that. It'd be tough for me to see Wonderboy get put away. He's never been knocked out, right? I mean, he could be submitted. We've seen Shavkat throw up some ridiculous chokes. What he did to Jeff Neal was crazy. But you're right, he did get pieced up in that fight a little bit. Jeff Neal was overweight. So, I mean, you're getting hit by a harder, more hydrated opponent. But again, all things considered, man, I mean, stylistically, like just talking tit for tat, I mean, Wonderboy is never going to be in the wrong place. He's going to be constantly making you think. He's going to be feinting. Even if he's lost a bit of a step in terms of the explosiveness, in terms of the actual speed or even strength, he's going to make up extra points with the IQ, with just spacing, being comfortable in any position that Shavkat can be in. Man, this can be a potential main event on any other fight night. This is a fun fight, ladies and gentlemen. I think you mentioned the analogy of, walking to the TV and, kind of maybe even being sad in a way. Well, this is one that you make sure you're sitting at the TV and you're ready to go. And I mean, if I could only pick one fight to watch, it'd probably be this one in terms of, I think, the skills that we're going to see from from a striking perspective. This would be the one. This is the one to circle and watch.
I mean, I'm one of those guys where I feel like music makes the world go round. I typically walk around with like a track playing in the back of my head to set the tone, right? When I'm walking up to my TV for this one, I know neither of these guys are Irish, but I have some shit like this playing in the back of my head. With Bruce Buffer, it's time! I'm just fucking ready to go, dude. I'm fired up, ready to see these fights. I just feel like the fire is lit. We are ignited. And fight fans should be excited. Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is a fight for the ages that promises to be absolute fireworks. It's crazy to think that Shavkat is literally 11 years younger than his opponent, but has the same number of wins as him in his very young mixed martial arts professional career. That is terrifying. Shavkat is that guy. As you stated, I have a hard time seeing him knock out or get the finish over Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, but it's also hard to see him not get the finish over anybody, considering that's just what the fuck he does, kid. So let's do this shot and let's get into the co-main event, man.
Cheers to that, brother. Can't wait.
Cheers.
And cheers to you all for sticking around with us, Islam. We appreciate you more than you know.
Let's go. And as you know, Christmas is coming soon. And so are the MMAnomaly annual 2024 MMAnomaly Awards. So make sure that you go online on Twitter, send in your votes via messages. And the biggest thing here is if you want to be in the episode, you want to be featured in it, send in your pick via video, and that will count as extra votes, folks. So go ahead and send those in to me. I'll give you an email address. You can shoot me a DM on Twitter or Instagram. You can even probably send the videos in there if they're not too big. Maybe send them in segments. Either way, we appreciate you guys, and I can't wait to make that video and make the cut so we can show you the winners. Anyways, moving into the co-main event of the evening, we have Alessandra Pantoja coming in against Brandon Raw Dog Royval. My guy, Raw Dog Royval. Dude, this guy's an absolute beast. Okay. I personally, I think we're going to differ on this one again because I'm going against the guy that's already lost one time in this bout. I'm going for Brandon Royval getting the comeback victory here. I think Brandon Royval is an absolute stud of a human being. He's 15-6, coming in against 26-5 Alessandro Pantoja. Obviously, Alessandro Pantoja has a much higher decorated, much better record in MMA here. Almost twice as many wins under his belt. And, the cannibal doesn't seem to be slowing down. 3 fights ago, he actually got the win over the man that's going to be standing across from him in the octagon this Saturday. That's Brandon Royval. How did he beat him? He got a rear naked choke in round 2, 1 minute and 46 seconds in. And then after that, he beat Alex Perez with a rear naked choke in round 1, minute 31 seconds in. After that, you might remember he got the decision win. It was a split decision, a bit controversial in my book, over Brendan Moreno at UFC 290, Volkanovski versus Rodriguez, aka International Fight Week. Fantastic time in Vegas. I didn't think he won that fight. I've gone back and rewatched it. I thought it was very close, so I'm not mad that he got the win. But again, I thought all my scorecards, every time I've rewatched that fight, Brandon Moreno won it. That fight being as close as it was, and then paging over to Brandon Royval's record, you got to look at what this guy's done since his last fight with the guy that got away, Alessandro Pantoja. Now, he himself was coming off of a loss to Brandon Moreno when he came into that fight. Had almost a year layoff going into that fight too. He had a shoulder injury and ground and pound that finished him in that Brandon Moreno fight, followed by a rear naked choke loss to Alessandro Pantoja back in 2021. Now, here's the crazy thing, okay? This guy after that went out and beat Rogerio Bontorin, who is a bit of a weight bully. Then he beat Matt Schnell, who, that's my fucking boy. Love you, Matt. And then he beat another Matt, Mateus Nicolau. And he beat the fuck out of Mateus Nicolau. I thought Mateus Nicolau was going to beat him. I lost money on that fight, folks. I had Mateus. Spoiler alert. But this guy, Raw Dog, he has just improved night and day, in my opinion. The footwork is there. The shot selection has gotten significantly better. And come on. The guy's a finishing machine. Okay. He only has 13% of his wins go to decision, 60% of them submission, 27% by way of TKO and KO. Guy's got 13 wins by finish, only 2 by decision. It tells you everything you need to know about him. I think Brandon Royval gets this done inside the distance. I don't think this fight goes 5 rounds at all. And I think Alessandro Pantoja, as much as I like the story, like dad never loving him taking the mic at International Fight Week and saying like, do you love me now? Am I enough now? Like, that's relatable stuff, bro. Like, your boys get daddy issues. But we're not here to talk about that. And we're also not here to talk about Pantoja's daddy issues. We're here to talk about his fight prowess. And honestly, all the extra stuff outside of the octagon, I just feel like it's a distraction to some extent. And I don't know that Royval, Raw Dog, has those type of distractions going in. I'm not mad at Leo Leach's prediction here. He's saying Brandon Royval round 3 sub, baby. Not mad at it. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. He is a submission machine. Okay. He's got 9 submission wins. He's an absolute beast when it comes to this. And I truly don't think that this is going to be any difference. Fun fact, his only submission loss was that rear naked choke to Alessandro Pantoja. You think lightning strikes twice, brother?
It might, brother, when you're that gosh darn good, when you're controlling it like Thor is, potentially, man. That Alexander Pantoja is an absolute savage, and he is really, really good on the ground. He started his career as a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, won events, and then has built his boxing and just his hands. It's almost just like he's blessed with just the ability to put power on you. And you just see in the way that his opponents react to some of the punches that he goes out there and puts on you. But yeah, real quick, man, again, starting with the champ, Alexandra Pantoja, 33 years old, 26-5. Like you mentioned, 18 finishes, 8 KOs, 10 subs. Dude's very well-rounded, man. And after he got through Brandon Moreno, who I felt was going to be the champ for a long time, it was tough to see it, but he beat him, man. He was the bigger, stronger opponent, and he's well-rounded, dude. Brandon Royval, as much as I do love the flashiness to his game and the fact that he is a specialist on the ground as well, think if this were strictly jiu-jitsu, I think Alexandre's Pantoja is going to win that. And the fact that it's about who's better at mixing them all up together, I do feel that we are going to be, I guess, fans, we're going to be pleased with the strikes we're going to be seeing. It's a striker's delight here, ladies and gents. So, like, the spinning, if you love the spinning back fists and you love action and you love dudes freaking getting after it, like, that's what we're going to see here for 25 minutes potentially. And man, they have some history, right? I mean, they've spent time together, and Raw Dog unfortunately got raw dogged by our boy Alexandre, the champ Pantoja, man, the cannibal. I mean, this dude's out here eating people, man. He's different. He's just built a little different. Like you mentioned, the only dude he lost to really was Deves and Figueroa, aka Figgy, who's now at a weight class above and is competing and looking sharp. He did lose to Askar Askarov, who is a stud in the division as well, like you mentioned. So no blemishes there. I mean, I think it might be the Pantoja era here for the next couple years potentially. I do love Brandon. Honestly, he's one of my dad's favorite fighters. So quick shout out Big Tone there, because he did. I mean, he's exciting to watch, man. It's like you throw on any fights, it's like, what is this guy doing? It's nonstop action. Anywhere it goes, he's finding a way to get you out of there. So it's going to be a tough 25 minutes and a legitimate test for Alexandre's first title defense. But hey, that 20% better, like Teddy Atlas always says, that you get as you become champion, I think is going to be the difference here. Already familiar with them, already has the edge on the ground. Can Brandon Royval land something? I guess we'll find out, but we'll be doing a shot on it on Monday. I know that much. Let's go.
I absolutely love that breakdown, except for the fact that I hate that you're disagreeing with me. But it is what it is, man. Gotta love individuality. That's why we call it no filter here. We roll with the punches. Speaking of roll with the punches, Brandon Royval. Sorry, I'm going to go ahead and read a chat from Leo Leach 5 here. He said, Brandon Royval is going to look like a prime Dan Henderson as his next fight, but with a BJJ skill set. Okay, Leo Leach 5, two things. One, I'm either calling bullshit on the fact that you started watching UFC a year ago on this basis alone, like, you know, prime Dan Henderson and what he looks like, or I'm giving you a pat on the back because you've been led into MMA by the right types of friends. If they've shown you prime Dan Henderson, I love that. Or maybe you learned it from EA UFC 5 since they just introduced that Pride pack of fighters with Pride Dan Henderson. You got to fucking love that. Man, if that's the case, I might become the biggest Brandon Royval Raw Dog fan in the world. Right now, it feels like my lungs are getting raw dog by this damn cold. But man, let me tell you, I think Brandon Raw Dog Royval is going to be the reason and the basis for Jive Turkey Nano, this fucking guy, doing another shot in our next episode here on Monday, our follow-up episode to these fights. So we're split again on this one, man. And I feel like that's okay because we've had a lot of agreeing this episode, which is very unusual for us. This next one might be another one where we draw a little bit of a line in the sand here. Now, if you'd asked me about this fight about a year ago, I probably would have leaned very heavily towards our guy, Colby Covington. Man, this guy, he is chaos incarnated, right? And appropriate nickname, pun intended. The guy has an endless gas tank, rather seemingly endless. He is a cardio machine, constantly moving forward. And again, his nickname is Colby Chaos Covington. They call him Chaos for a reason because when you're fighting him, he presents pretty much nothing but chaos. If you look at his entire fight career, right? The guy started his first pro fight in 2012. Do you know how many people he's lost to without Googling? 2. He's lost to Kamaru Usman twice. So that counts as one person, obviously. And Warley Alves. He fought fucking Warley Alves in 2015. Warley Alves fought this year.
Warley Alves is a stud. That dude was an absolute monster. He was a monster, a Brazilian just beast back in the day.
Dare I say, the guy might even be a bit of a dog.
Bro, he was the original junkyard dog, for sure. If y'all don't know about him, obviously he was kind of overlooked by some other legends in that time, but he was a perennial, like, fucking dog in that division. He was a dude.
But let me tell you, like every bit of a dog as Warley Alves is, Colby Chaos Covington, he's a dog too, baby. And you can bet that they're going to go in there, they're going to stare at each other across the octagon. It's going to feel a little bit like fucking Clint Eastwood vibe. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be disgusting. I'm excited about it. Again, a year ago, I probably would have said Cole Blander himself would have gotten it done, man. Colby Covington is a dog. Dude is an absolute beast. As Leo Leach 5 pointed out again in the chat, we appreciate you rocking with us till the very bitter end here, brother. Colby is a dog. Bro went a round or two with a broken jaw. His stuff was hanging on by a thread, bro. His jaw was like a Bon Jovi song. It was living on a fucking prayer, Nano. It was barely there, Nano. It was disgusting. And still, he was landing big shots. He would have fought that fight till the end if Mark Goddard, not so Goodard, as he calls him, didn't call a stop to it. And he was definitely playing favorites in that fight. I went back and rewatched that fight very recently, actually, about a month ago. Colby was not getting away with anything, while Kamaru was getting away with nut shots, fence grabs, you fucking name it. And he also faked a nut shot of his own. Like he faked like he got hit to the nuts, but he actually got hit on the belt line. Weird stuff. Again, Colby's an absolute dog. That being said, Leon Edwards is someone that has just shown too many improvements to bet against. Now, again, you asked me about this fight a year ago. I'm betting hardcore on Colby Covington, okay? Because I thought Colby Covington was winning that fight against Kamaru Usman in the first one. The second one, not so much. I feel like Kamaru had his number at that point. It was just a bad fight for him. If that fight didn't get stopped, 56 seconds left in the final round against Kamaru Usman the first time, I think we would have had a Colby Covington champion there. And that would have been an interesting take. But we didn't. And instead, we saw him lose twice back-to-back to Kamaru and then take quite a lengthy layoff. I did the math here. And when he steps into the octagon on Saturday, it will be 651 days to the date since he last stepped foot in the UFC octagon. That's tough. That's a tough ask when you're going out there and you're fighting someone as active as Leon Rocky Edwards has been in comparison. Now, he's only had about one fight a year, unless you include the Bilal Muhammad no contest eye poke, as well as the Nate Diaz fight. Then he had 2 fights in the year 2021. But again, he didn't have a single fight in 2020. So he averages roughly 1 fight a year, which is significantly more than Colby Chaos Covington here lately, Donald Trump's favorite fighter. Now, I just think Colby's going to struggle to take him down in the early rounds. And with that being said, if Colby fails the first 2 to 5 takedowns, boy, it's going to be a tough night at the office for him. And I think Leon is going to chip away at him. He's going to break him down. He's going to terrorize that gas tank. And we might, for the very first time in his mixed martial arts career, see a very tired Colby Chaos Covington. That's my breakdown. I'm betting the house on Leon Rocky Edwards in this one. Boom. Headshot. Dead. Y'all doubted me. Look at me now. Look at me now.
I came from nothing. A tin room house and a ceiling, whatever you said. Bro. Look at me now.
I will tell you right now.
I will say that
Leon
speech
Edwards
is by
has
far
one
the
of the best fight promos I've ever seen in my entire life. Look up Leon Edwards fight promo BT Sport on YouTube after this episode. It is incredible. I'll send it to you, Nano, but I'm telling you to say that out loud for the viewers.
Yeah, I mean, bro, yeah.
How do you see this one going, brother?
Well, this is going to be a fun one, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is going to be worthy of everything we have it hyped up to be. UFC 296 is going to be a banger card, and it's going to end with absolute fireworks. I do think this is going to be potentially fight of the year. Fight of the year. Definitely fight of the night, but fight of the year potential, ladies and gentlemen. I do think that Colby Covington is still Chaos Covington. He's a freaking dog. Quick stat here, bro. His last 6 fights, all 5-round fights. They all went to the 5 rounds. That is 30 rounds. I know you mentioned his layoffs, but as you get a little bit older, and frankly, if you're that freaking good, who cares? No signs of ring rust at all for this kid. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing with Colby Chaos Covington. He stays ready. He has a great wrestling background. Dude's always in the gym. He lives out there in Florida, at the gym, that is. And in a gym that has nothing but absolute savages at all times. And man, I mean, I'm big on, supporting America. And, I mean, it's interesting to think about, like, it's like, yo, we're American, right? Like, obviously we come from different backgrounds, but it's like, we're American. And I do appreciate anyone that kind of helps revalidate that or re-solidify, like, hey man, I'm proud to be American, and proud of our country, proud of who I am, where I come from, where I live, what I fight for. I love that he represents the troops. I mean, how do you not love anyone that fucking supports the troops? Like, don't come at me with anything else other than fucking love and support for the troops and respect. And everything he does there, like, I love, although obviously it could be looked at as cringy, or it could be looked at as desperate or as some facade. But all things considered, man, he goes in there and he backs up in the octagon. Again, 6 of his last fights over the last 3-4 years have been all 5-round fights. A couple have been finishes, a couple he's obviously lost as well. But the dude, I mean, just in terms of octagon overall experience, I mean, time, I mean, that says a lot to me. And that's why I think he's going to be an absolute tough test for Leon Edwards, who, again, man, we've seen fade, right? We've seen a Nate Diaz slap him around in the 5th round and literally be a minute away from beating him, literally, right? And Kamaru Usman, that first one, if Rocky Leon Edwards didn't have freaking Mickey in his corner, or just the most legendary, the most motivational coach out there, if he didn't have the right guy saying the right things at the right time, he was also a minute away from losing that fight as well.
Mickey loves you.
Well, quit feeling sorry for yourself. Well,
he was literally like Mickey from from Rocky, bro.
Dude, it was the best speech ever. I mean, it makes Joe Rogan talk.
Quit letting him bully you.
You're better than that. Well, you give up, aren't you?
But that is not the cloth from which he is cut.
Oh my God. And then the Rocky music. Getting stronger.
Yeah, speaking of which, dude, I'm going to let you finish your thought, but we do have breaking news after that.
I just think Leon Edwards, he deserves to be champion. He's one of the best kickboxers in the division. But boy, Kobe Covington is one of the best fighters when it comes to dudes that can mix it up well. Yeah, he might be meat and potatoes according to Daniel Cormier, but when it comes to put it all together, that dude is unlike most people on planet Earth. And he's a true welterweight. Fuck, man. A part of me wants to pick Kobe so bad, but I just think Leon Edwards is just too good of a fighter. I think he'll find a way. But dude, I do think the wrestling is going to be the X factor here. Like, does Leon have an answer for the wrestling? And I feel like he does. And I do think even if he does get taken down a few times, again, it's going to be a 5-round fight, most likely. He's going to get up quick. Like, how are they going to score those, right? How much damage is Kobe going to be able to do? Like, Leon's a big, strong son of a gun. He's not going to just sit there and let Kobe lay on him. Here's your rebuttal to my long-winded way of me saying I think Leon's going to win, but dude, I'm like 40% on Kobe. It's like a 60-40 right now.
There is zero rebuttal on that, my friend, because I'm team Leon Rocky Edwards. And, I'm also feeling a little bit of uneasiness betting on Leon Edwards here because Kobe is chaos, and chaos isn't fun. Chaos typically fucks up your bets and ruins your night and takes your money. But with that being said, folks, we have some breaking MMA news here. I couldn't even let that shit finish. I'm so excited about this. We have a late replacement.
No.
There's a new young man fighting against Vicente Luque, and you already know who it is, folks. When you got a problem, you know who to call. Call motherfucking Big Mouth. We're talking about Kevin Holland stepping in on 3 days' notice to fight your boy Vicente Luque. Woo! What? Luque at this news, huh? It's crazy.
Wow.
Kevin Holland, reported by Marcel Dorf, who is probably the most noteworthy and trustworthy fucking news source when it comes to UFC matchmaking. Let's go.
Wow.
Big Mouth, baby.
Where you see it?
Fight of the night. Marcel Dorf Twitter.
Marcel Dorf.
Yeah, Big Marcel. Big Marcel at Big Marcel 42. If you're not following this guy on Twitter, please follow this guy on Twitter. He always breaks the news as far as like new fights that are getting scheduled, typically even before Dana lets loose the news. So definitely make sure you give that guy a follow. If you're trying to be Super Mario and get the jump on all these news tidbits, Marcel Dorf's your guy. Make sure you give that guy a follow. Yeah, man. I shouted out capmma.com at the beginning of the live feed here. Cap MMA, the chat that I'm in with them is actually where I got this news. They sent that in the chat and everyone's going nuts over it right now. So,
oh man. Well,
call Big Mouth.
Well, and it's interesting because there was that leak previously with Kevin Holland supposedly being matched up against MVP. I don't know if you saw that, right? The Michael Venom page.
But then
it was on the Full Send podcast.
Might end up going to Bellator instead or to PSL.
So that and honestly, it had red dots next to it, which even I was looking at it. I'm like, if it has red dots, maybe that was just like, oh, we want to try to like get it on here. But I don't think that was. And Kevin Holland, once he said he never even got the call about it, like they weren't just gonna throw him on 297 in months' notice. So wow, so quick, I mean, he must have been ready.
Leach asked if I could shout out the @. I just posted that up in the chat. I'm putting it up on the screen for visual viewers as well. It is at Big Marcel, MARCEL 33. Definitely make sure you give that guy a follow. I've been following this dude for like, I don't know, probably like 3 years at this point. He posts really solid MMA. Just like, he doesn't post like takes necessarily. He typically just posts like, these two are going to fight on this card, on this date. This has been signed. So yeah, if you're into getting fight announcements, definitely recommend following this guy. And honestly, I recommend turning on notifications for him if you're a big UFC head. He's going to probably get you that news faster than most people.
Nice. Well said, brother.
Honestly, shit. I don't like Ian Gary, so like Operation Watch Ian Gary get fucked, which kind of makes me seem like I'm like him, a bit of a cuck. I'd love to watch that kid get beaten in the UFC, but this almost feels like a better fight, folks. This feels like a really fun fight. The only thing I wish is that Vicente Luque and Big Mouth had a full camp to prepare for one another. Because by golly, this has got fireworks written all over it, man.
I mean, I think that favors Kevin Holland in a way. Because
short notice king.
Short notice king, like he doesn't need much to. I don't think he was really going to sit there and try to dial in on Vicente Luque's tendencies. He was probably going to just get into shape, maybe train a little bit more and just go in and try and fuck him up. Vicente Luque was going to probably want some more time. Okay, what does he like to do? What is his movements? Two totally different style of fighters here that we're talking about now. So yeah, it's going to be a different problem. All the drills you've been drilling up till this point. I mean, now you're, and you can elaborate more on this side, but now you're, super focused on the weight cut itself. If you're doing any movements or workouts, it's just to help get the weight off. Like you literally are basically done with the camp itself. Like today might have been the last day, right? There was sometime this week. It's maybe when you're getting that last hard session in. And again, all those drills, everything you're drilling in those hard sessions are what? Things that you've been training for this camp, which is what? Based around that opponent that you were going to fight. So all things considered, backyard brawl. Vicente Luque is a dog, man. You throw him into a cage or into a backyard, I trust he'll find a way out of it. But Big Mouth's gonna be that's fun, brother. Big Mouth, big name, big lights. It's gonna be a big fight.
And with that being said, I think in a fight like this, especially on short notice, anybody can get got. Anybody can get got in this fight.
And it probably will be a catchweight, yeah.
I would think it's going to be a catchweight if the fight happens. I'm double checking with the Cap MMA group because I'm thinking that maybe somebody made a fake Marcel Dorf page.
Yeah, maybe he's been offered it. Maybe it hasn't been signed yet. Obviously, Vicente still has to agree, so a lot of things still have to happen. But hey, the whispers are out there. Dana's going to try to do everything they can to make something happen here, to try to salvage it if possible by any means. So let's see.
Oh yeah. Okay. So it is a fake Marcel Dorf page. Damn. Someone literally made a duplicate Marcel Dorf page on Twitter and changed the last number. And I felt
but people are posting, like, if you go to Luque Vincente's
fake page already got 10K views in like less than an hour.
Vincente Luque's post, he
did he post something?
He just posted about a video. He's saying just wishing him best recovery, but people are commenting Kevin Holland and posting like Kevin Holland memes and stuff. So
I think
the news is out there, unless everyone else got and people are just responding, because I mean Kevin Holland is all over. Yeah. Hold on.
Well, now I'm slightly embarrassed. I feel like we got. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully we actually get this fight. And if we don't, as Leo Leach 5 said in the chat, call in Alexander Volkanovski. He'll take it on short notice. 265-pound fight. Fucking call Alex. Why not? He's there. Oh man. Well, with that being said, folks, that was the last fights of the night. We could do this all fucking night, folks. We love this sport. We love the ebbs and flows, the rises and falls, everything about it. The good, the bad, the ugly. Either way, we truly hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. Leo Leach, you're going to get your fucking fight. Calm down. I see you in the chat, brother. I already sent you a message on Instagram. Hopefully you responded to that. Give me your gamer tag, and I'll be in there in about like 10 to 15 minutes to get one match in with you before I call it an early night here. So again, if you're new here, if you're old here, no matter what, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, smash that bell for notifications. And if you would like to be entered for a chance to win the Meat Potato Striker t-shirt, the MMAnomaly t-shirt here, like this video after it gets posted, comment on the final product. And if you like and comment on previous videos, as long as you're subscribed to the channel, those will count as extra entries. We'll be picking a winner at the very end of December, shortly after the MMAnomaly Show 2024 awards, or 2023 awards, I should say. So again, like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube and podcast things. And we appreciate you being here. We're typically lives Mondays and Wednesdays. And as we like to say here on the MMAnomaly Show, no filter, keep on going, keep on growing. We'll see you next week, folks.
You've been listening to the MMAnomaly Show, no filter. As you may have been able to tell, we dig the MMA, and our passion is to dive deep into the upcoming fights, give you our expert breakdowns, and help you make sense of all the chaos that is the fight game. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, make sure to find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at MMAnomaly. Be cool, and we'll see you next time.